Early morning, sunlight streamed through the window into the room, a figure still asleep in bed. Suddenly, an angry voice rang out. "You useless girl, get out of bed." Immediately after, a pillow was thrown at the peacefully sleeping girl. The girl woke up with a start, sat up, rubbing her head while murmuring, "Where is this? Am I not already dead?" Young mother, Qin Sheng's adoptive mother, stormed into the room furiously. "The people from a Qin family are here to take you back. Hurry up and pack your things. Are you waiting for me to serve you? Do you think you're some kind of young miss? You're nothing but a child I abused." The girl kept rubbing her face, her heart full of confusion. "This is my adoptive mother's house. I've been reborn back to the day my biological parents came to pick me up when I was 17. Young mother continued to point at her and scold loudly. "I'm warning you. Going back isn't for you to enjoy yourself. You have to treat your sister well. If it weren't for her, you wouldn't be able to return to the Qin family at all. Remember, if she tells you to go east, you absolutely cannot go west. Do you understand?" Qin Sheng's face slightly darkened. Although she was a wealthy heiress, she was deliberately swapped by her adoptive parents and had been beaten and scolded since childhood. Ignoring young mother's words, she walked straight past her, causing young mother to yell angrily, "You dead girl, did you hear what I said?" Qin Sheng's expression remained calm, as if she didn't care at all. Young mother furiously raised her hand. "You still dare to act like this? It seems you really need a lesson." Just as her hand swung down, Qin Sheng grabbed her wrist, firmly holding it in place. Qin Sheng calmly said, "You have no right to scold me." Young mother cried out in pain from her grip. "You little ungrateful wretch, are you rebelling? Don't think I can't deal with you just because you're back at the Qin family." Annoyed by her nagging, Qin Sheng directly slapped her. "Shut up, you're too noisy." Afterwards, she rubbed her wrist, frowning. "Don't worry, I will get back at you for all the abuse you've inflicted on me over the years." Before young mother could react, Qin Sheng leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Including your precious daughter." After finishing her sentence, Qin Sheng picked up her coat, put it on, and left young mother without looking back. Outside the door, a man was waiting for her. "Miss, please get in the car." She got in the car, crossed her legs, and coldly ordered, "Drive." Qin Sheng couldn't help but recall, just like in her past life, her biological parents took her home. She thought she had finally escaped her adoptive mother's abuse, but she didn't expect her biological parents to only dote on Qin Chu Rou, the daughter they raised. She remembered in her past life, someone said to her, "Qin Sheng, if you write your sister's name on your paintings, we'll be very happy. You are our biological daughter. We will definitely let you stand on the podium with her." At the awards ceremony, desperately yearning for her parents' love, she did everything she could to help Qin Chu Rou become famous, only to be cruelly murdered by her in the end. She remembered clutching her chest in pain and asking, "Why did you do this? I gave you everything." But Qin Chu Rou was like a madwoman. "If you don't die, half of the Qin family's assets will go to you. Besides, I'm much better than you. Why does Fu Hanchuan like you and not me?" Qin Sheng, enduring the pain, immediately pinned her down. "Let go of me, you're crazy." Her blood-covered hand picked up a lighter, and Qin Sheng gave a bitter smile. "Even if I'm going to die, I'll drag you down to hell with me." The flame of the lighter fell, and the curtains instantly burst into flames. Amidst the firelight and smoke, a young man's voice echoed in her ears. "Qin Sheng, I'll take you away. Qin Sheng, don't sleep anymore." So, in this life, Qin Sheng would take back everything that belonged to her. At the Qin family villa, Qin Sheng slowly walked into the house, towards the three people at the dining table. "Chu Rou, come try this. I made it especially for you." Qin Chu Rou happily replied, "Thank you, Mom and Dad. You're so good to me." Suddenly, she froze, noticing something. Qin Chu Rou, the fake heiress of the Qin family, ran to Qin Sheng. "Sister, you're back. Why didn't you say anything? I didn't even see you." But Qin Sheng just brushed past her, completely ignoring her, making Qin Chu Rou somewhat dissatisfied. Qin Chu Rou didn't stop, bringing over a bowl of rice. "Sister, you must be hungry. Eat quickly." She even took the initiative to pick up some food for her. "Eat more, sister. You probably rarely get to eat such good food over there." Father Qin, sitting opposite, also nodded. "Yes, Shang'er, this isn't like the countryside. You need to adapt to city life quickly." However, Qin Sheng coldly pushed the bowl of rice away, surprising Qin Chu Rou. She simply knocked the bowl of rice to the floor. Dirty. Father Qin slammed the table, angrily saying, Qin Sheng, didn't your adoptive parents teach you any manners? How can you treat your sister like this? Qin Sheng, however, remained calm, coldly replying, I was a child raised without guidance. Naturally, my upbringing is lacking. Father Qin was so angry he couldn't speak. Then he turned and went inside, displeased, letting out a cold snort. Qin Chu Rou called after him, Dad. Her mother glared at her. Chu Rou, your sister doesn't understand the rules. Help your mother teach her a lesson. Qin Chu Rou nodded slightly. Okay, Mom. She immediately went over to Qin Sheng. Sister, have you finished eating? I'll take you downtown. Your clothes. Don't worry, I'll help you dress up nicely. Qin Sheng sneered. Qin Chu Rou, Qin Hai and Lin Xia aren't here now. You don't have to pretend in front of me. Her tone was laced with warning. What doesn't belong to you will never belong to you. Qin Chu Rou's expression immediately changed. She crossed her arms and said smugly, Qin Sheng, in their eyes, I am their only daughter. I am the young miss of the Qin family, and you are nothing. Qin Sheng picked up the glass of water on the table and splashed it in her face. Qin Sheng looked extremely satisfied. This time, I will take back everything that belongs to me. Everything you stole, I will take it all back. The glass fell to the ground and shattered. Qin Sheng walked past Qin Chu Rou, leaving behind a single sentence. You'd better cherish what you have now, because it won't be yours for much longer. Watching Qin Sheng leave, Qin Chu Rou's face was twisted with rage. Qin Sheng, I will never let you get your way. Scene change. Qin Sheng sat in her room, bent over her computer. I want to start my own business, and that requires a large amount of startup capital. She thought intently. In my past life, the Qin family capital chain broke, and I used the stock market to increase their money tenfold, saving the Qin family. But Qin Chu Rou, as usual, stole the credit. It doesn't matter. This time I won't give her a single chance. Playing the stock market still requires principle. So, Qin Sheng wrote on a piece of paper, trick Qin Hai out of money. Also, get the Qin family's meeting gift first. As she was thinking, there was a sudden commotion. Qin Sheng instinctively looked over. A pile of clothes was thrown inside. It was a haughty maid who said curtly, These are your clothes and personal belongings. Madam asked me to bring them over. The maid turned to leave, rubbing her shoulder and muttering, She really thinks she's a young miss. Just came back and already wants people to wait on her. Isn't she just a bastard? Qin Sheng immediately walked out, her voice cold and sharp. Stop. The maid stopped, arms crossed, her attitude arrogant. What is it, young miss? She sneered. I've finished my work. What more do you want? Do you want me to kneel down and serve you? Before she could finish her sentence, a resounding slap landed on her face. Qin Sheng scoffed. Who do you think you are, daring to speak to your master like that? Even if I just came back from the countryside, I'm still a member of the Qin family. A lowly maid daring to step on me. Before the maid could react, Qin Sheng gently lifted her chin. Tell me, if I told Qin Hai about this, would he side with his biological daughter or with you? Think carefully. The maid immediately knelt down, clutching Qin Sheng's leg and pleading. Young miss, please, I can't lose this job. I was wrong this time. I won't dare to do it again. But Qin Sheng simply said coldly, get out. The maid slowly got up and backed out, her face full of terror. Qin Sheng mercilessly threw the pile of clothes back into the room. The next morning, Qin Hai sat at the dining table and said gently, Chu Rou has already gone to school. Sheng, you should eat quickly too and go to school after you finish. The countryside and the big city are different and your grades are poor, so you have to work harder. Qin Sheng didn't care at all and stood up directly. I'm full. Qin Hai silently looked at his daughter. He turned to his wife and said, Didn't you prepare clothes for Sheng? His wife replied, I already had the maid send them over. Qin Sheng replied indifferently, They're hideous. This made his wife's face suddenly darken, her expression full of impatience. So troublesome. Qin Sheng is nothing like Qin Chu Rou, who is so obedient and well-behaved. Qin Hai took out a black card and handed it to her. Sheng, there's 2,000 yuan here. If you don't like the clothes your mother picked, go buy a few sets you like. They thought that since Qin Sheng came from the countryside, she must have never seen so much pocket money and would be incredibly moved. However, Qin Sheng saw right through his thoughts and asked directly, Does Qin Chu Rou also get 2,000 yuan for allowance. He calmly replied, 20,000. After hearing this, a natural yet sharp smile curved her lips. So, the biological daughter isn't even worth as much as the adopted daughter, is that it? At this moment, Xian Hai's wife slammed the table in anger. Xian Shang, how can you compare yourself to Chu Rou? She has many friends and spend a lot of money. You came from the countryside. You probably haven't seen 2,000 yuan in your entire life. Xian Shang tucked her hair behind her ear. You can't say that. If people knew how stingy Dad is to his biological daughter, what would they say? It wouldn't be good if it affected Dad's reputation. Xian Hai's face darkened slightly. It's all Dad's fault. From now on, your allowance will be the same as Chu Rou's. Xian Shang held up her black card and shook it. Then shouldn't my allowance for the past 18 years also be the same as Xian Chu Rou's, Mom? Her mother completely exploded. Xian Shang, are you trying to steal everything from Chu Rou? If Chu Rou's mother hadn't mistakenly taken you, Chu Rou would be the one growing up in the countryside right now. Her expression suddenly calmed. Anyway, these things never belonged to her. I'm just taking back what's mine. Dad, I don't think you'll mistreat your biological daughter, will you? Would I? Hearing this, Xian Hai immediately handed over another black card. Of course not. Dad will give you 20,000 first, and the rest will be your dowry. She took the 2 cards and turned to leave. Thank you, Dad. I'll go to school now. Walking through the estate and out the gate, she accidentally bumped into someone. Seeing the other person, Xian Shang was slightly stunned, not expecting to wander here. Looking through the fence, Xian Shang couldn't help but think, in this world, only they are truly good to me. It's a pity I let them down, only understanding the value of family before I died. Xian Shang turned and quickly left, thinking, luckily, I have a chance to start over. When I become stronger, I will definitely come back to you. A speeding car suddenly braked sharply, and a handsome, dazzling man got out. But when he looked at the road ahead, there was no one there, only the lonely wind. Fu Hanchuan, the heir to the Fu group, gently rubbed his forehead. Who is that girl who always appears in my dreams? At H City High School, as soon as Xian Shang arrived at a classroom, she heard a loud voice from inside. Mr. Liang, the Qin family donated a gymnasium to the school, and they insist on putting Xian Shang in Class 1. What do you think? I don't want a good-for-nothing dragging the class down and affecting my bonus. Can she compensate me? Xian Shang pushed the door open, hearing everything clearly, and raised her voice. Homeroom teacher, I don't want to be in Class 1. The teacher inside was stunned to see her. Xian Shang thought to herself, in my past life, I entered Class 1, and Liang Hua, at Qin Chu Rou's behest, made things difficult for me everywhere. I don't want to waste any more time on this kind of person affecting my money-making. The classroom suddenly became somewhat chaotic. A teacher walked up to Xian Shang and said with a smile, don't worry, Xian Shang. Although Class 4's grades aren't very good, I'll do my best to help you all get into university. Xian Shang politely replied, okay. After entering the classroom, the teacher immediately introduced, everyone quiet down. This is your new classmate, Xian Shang. She transferred to our class today. Please take care of her. Quiet down, get ready for class. After saying that, the teacher left. Xian Shang sat in the classroom, focused on playing with her phone. Suddenly, an unfriendly-looking boy came over and kept knocking on the table. Hey, Xian Shang. Xian Shang asked indifferently, is something the matter? The boy sneered, new here, acting pretty tough, huh? Xian Shang kept staring at her phone, as if logging into some account, continuously accepting challenges, each for 10,000 yuan. The boy's face turned green. Xian Shang, you just arrived in Class 4. Do you know what you're doing? But Xian Shang ignored him completely unfazed. The boy thought angrily, do I look that easy to bully? This girl doesn't even look at me. If she weren't a girl, I would have beaten her up already. She slowly stood up and said calmly, I know. This made the boy feel a little smug. Good that you know your place. But Xian Shang remained calm. How about we have a competition? You choose any subject. If you lose, don't start crying. Hearing this, the boy and the whole class laughed. Brother Feng, did I hear that right? Is she challenging you? Xian Shang, you're so cute. Let me remind you, Brother Feng is the school's boss. Think carefully. Don't go crying to your mommy later. The boy called Brother Feng pointed at her face. Xian Shang, I advise you to back down. I'm a gentleman. I never hit girls. Xian Shang grew impatient and grabbed his hand. Put your hand down. In front of the whole class, she twisted his hand hard and threw him off. You talk too much. Brother Feng's two lackeys quickly helped him up. Brother Feng, are you okay? Brother Feng clutched his wrist, his face contorted in pain. He gritted his teeth and said, lunch break, basketball court. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know who's boss. She clapped her hands and said calmly, fine, I'll wait for you, you little brat. After saying that, Xian Shang returned to her seat and continued to play with her phone. A bunch of girls in the classroom were secretly looking at her, their eyes full of admiration. So cool. I'm in love. The bell rang, and the teacher walked in with a ruler, rapping it against the blackboard. Quiet down. You're the loudest class in the whole school. The teacher started the class. Everyone look here. But Xian Shang was still immersed in her phone. The teacher frowned, turned around, and pushed up their glasses. Another one not paying attention in class, playing on their phone. The teacher grabbed a piece of chalk and threw it at Xian Shang's desk, startling her. Xian Shang, come up and solve this problem. Xian Shang didn't say anything and walked directly to the podium to begin solving the problem. The teacher turned around and muttered, this is the last problem from the college entrance exam 5 years ago, the hardest one. It's okay if you can't solve it. I just wanted to bring a student who isn't studying up here to remind everyone. Unexpectedly, watching Xian Shang focused on solving the problem, the teacher's jaw dropped. My goodness, she's writing so fast. This is a university-level problem. After a while, Xian Shang finished the problem and said, teacher, I'm done. After checking the answer, the teacher exclaimed in surprise, completely correct. Xian Shang, have you studied university-level material? This is advanced mathematics. Xian Shang nodded slightly after hearing this. Yes, I've studied a bit. The teacher quickly reminded her, your solution is perfect, but Xian Shang, you need to pay more attention in class next time. Watching Xian Shang slowly walk down from the podium, the teacher thought to themselves, not only is she fast at solving problems, but she also used university-level knowledge. This isn't a poor student at all. She's clearly a hidden expert. The boy who had wanted to embarrass her sneered to himself, so she's just a nerd. I'll have to teach her a lesson at noon. At lunchtime, on the school basketball court, the two faced off. The boy bounced the basketball and said, Xian Shang, it's not too late to admit defeat now and save yourself the embarrassment. Xian Shang paused for a moment, stared coldly at him for a long time, and said indifferently, cut the crap, let's begin. The boy was provoked by her attitude and thought, no, I have to teach her a lesson. At this moment, the referee blew the whistle. Ready. Their eyes locked intently. The ball was thrown up, and the boy quickly grabbed it. However, Xian Shang deftly intercepted it, surprising him. What the? Xian Shang moved agilely, dribbling towards the basket, her eyes focused and determined. She quickly shot, and the basketball swished through the net. The surrounding students were stunned. A three-pointer. Even the boy was shocked. A three-pointer. Does she actually know how to play? The ball went in, and a burst of exclamations rang out around them. It went in, it really went in. The boy was speechless and could only comfort himself. It must have been luck. The ball bounced out of the net, and Xian Shang stood in place, exuding an aura of confidence. She caught the basketball, spinning it on her fingertip. Warm-up's over. Let's officially begin. The two were evenly matched, but Xian Shang quickly stole the ball again. Then she smoothly and fluidly dunked, nearly making her opponent cry. Time and time again, Xian Shang continued to score, never letting the other side touch the ball. The final score was 18-0. The game ended, and Xian Shang won a resounding victory, while the boy collapsed on the ground, panting. But he suddenly said something that stunned Xian Shang. Dad, WTH. He excitedly rushed over and offered her water. Ah no, Xian Shang, from now on, I, Lin Feng, recognize you as my big brother. My underlings are your underlings too. Xian Shang took the water and turned around. I didn't want to take your place. I'm not interested. Lin Feng happily massaged her shoulders while saying, okay, Xian Shang, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I'll never disobey. She tossed the water bottle back to Lin Feng and said coldly, we'll talk later. I'm leaving. Outside, a car was waiting, and a hand gently stroked a photo of Xian Shang. Xian Shang, I finally found you. Fu Hanchuan sat in the car, smiling softly. So the girl in my dreams wasn't an illusion. The girl I like really exists. At this moment, he inadvertently saw Xian Shang slowly walking out of the school gate. He quickly straightened his clothes and got out of the car, calling out gently, Shang Shang. Xian Shang saw the familiar figure and looked over in surprise. Fu Gij, he doesn't know me yet. How could? Fu Hanchuan lowered his eyes, seemingly a little disappointed. To her, I'm just a stranger now. He quickly approached and explained gently, my grandfather was sick before, and it's thanks to you that he's okay. He wants to thank you in person for saving his life. Saying this, Hanchuan handed Xian Shang a photo. Seeing her confusion, he added, it's Grandpa Lu. She nodded. Yes. So, can you come home with me to see him? Xian Shang happily agreed. Okay. In her heart, she couldn't help but feel joyful. Finally, she could see them again. At the Lu family's old residence, the three sat around the table. Grandpa Lu looked at Xian Shang and said, Shang, I miss you every day. I'm almost going crazy missing you. He's Fu Hanchuan's grandfather, Lu Zhonghua. He smiled kindly and continued, it's all this boy's fault. He keeps me in a hospital, saying he's going to find you, and he's been looking for you for so long. Lu Zhonghua then asked gently, Shang, how old are you this year? Xian Shang replied without hesitation, I'll be 18 in 2 months. Hearing this, Fu Hanchuan's gaze shifted slightly. Lu Zhonghua was overjoyed. That's wonderful, Shang. This is my grandson. He's 5 years older than you, a good student, capable, handsome, can cook, has a gentle personality, and has never been in a relationship. If you marry him, you'll definitely be very happy. Xian Shang nodded slightly, glancing at the man beside her. He's indeed excellent. Can't find any faults. Fu Hanchuan, however, tensed up. His limbs were stiff. Grandfather Lu continued to ask, so, Shang, what do you think of him? Are you willing? Inwardly, he wasn't happy at all. This boy was good in every way, except his emotional intelligence was negative. He didn't understand feelings at all. Fu Hanchuan then interjected, all right, Grandpa, the food's getting cold. Don't let Shang miss dinner. As he spoke, he kept piling food into Xian Shang's bowl until it was overflowing. She's too thin. She needs to eat more. Grandfather Lu stroked his beard and laughed. My grandson has a wife now, and he's already starting to dislike his grandfather. He's all grown up and doesn't listen to me anymore. Shang, give me some food too. I want to eat. After dinner, Fu Hanchuan said politely, Grandpa, it's getting late. I'll take Shang home first. The car stopped in front of the gates of a huge mansion. As they walked, Fu Hanchuan casually asked, Shang, do you have a phone? Xian Shang took it out and replied, yes, I do. He nodded and said, then save my number. Then he gently patted her head. Call me if you need anything. I'm always here. Xian Shang was slightly stunned. Thank you, Brother Fu. With that, she turned and ran, waving happily as she left. Goodbye. Fu Hanchuan stood there, watching her figure disappear behind the gate before he rang the doorbell. Her mother opened the door, her face displeased. Where are you wandering again? Coming back so late, what will people think? How can I have such a disobedient daughter like you? Seeing this, Fu Hanchuan felt a pang of sympathy. He thought, Qin Hai, Lin Shuya, you're living too comfortably. He leaned against the car, the night breeze gently brushing past. If her family can't give her warmth, then I will spoil her. I'll treat her like a princess. As soon as Xian Shang calmly walked into the house, Qin Hai's displeased voice rang out. What kind of daughter comes home so late? Shanger, you need to learn from your sister. Only obedient daughters deserve to be part of the Qin family. Qin Hai was clearly unhappy. He continued, I'm very busy lately, so I won't be holding a welcome home banquet for you. You don't mind, do you? Xian Shang paused slightly, only giving a light response before hurrying upstairs. No matter how much I tried to please them in my past life, they never treated me like a daughter. Our familial affection has long been in name only. She walked with her head down, thinking, in this life, I don't want to pretend anymore. It's better to focus on making money. Xian Shang entered her room and quickly typed on her computer. My posts from this morning have all sunk. Was the challenge too mild? Xian Shang snorted coldly. A line of text popped up on the blue screen. I've seen your results. To summarize in one word, trash. You have no skills at all. I really don't understand how you became top hackers. It seems the so-called Black Alliance is nothing more than this. Anyone with the ability, come challenge me, unless you're all cowards afraid of losing to a newcomer. The message box was instantly flooded with thousands of notifications. Xian Shang stared at the screen, manipulating it for a while, and smiled with satisfaction. Finally got it done. On the computer screen, a group of super cute little warriors appeared. These guys were mercilessly complaining. This kid is too arrogant. Does he think there's no one else in the hacking world? For so many years, it's the first time a newcomer has dared to challenge the big shots in the circle. He's truly ignorant of the immensity of heaven and earth. Look at his progress bar. He hasn't even broken through a single line of defense. What a sight. Qin Sheng clicked her tongue softly. No one can stop me. Qin Sheng's in-game character continuously broke through firewalls. Tei's small black was defeated. Kuriko was defeated. Noob was defeated. Qin Sheng smiled contentedly as she played. She stretched. I've already earned 3 million. I can call it a day. Lu Ming, a top hacker and also Fu Hanquan's younger brother, was extremely depressed at that moment. Oh my god, my new record hasn't even had time to cool down before it was broken. 2 prompts popped up on the screen. Big shot, your record has been broken. Can you still sit still? Universe's most handsome. The fire is burning at your doorstep. Are you afraid to fight? Seeing these words, Lu Ming's spirits lifted. Don't worry, I'll make that guy kneel down and call me daddy. The two battled back and forth in the game universe. Universe's most handsome sent a message. Let's change games. Move the battlefield to reality. Do you dare? You choose the battlefield. 05 replied. Okay, then Longfei Group, 3 million. All bets from the game. Both characters became excited. Alright, let's start now, clean and swift. What followed was a super cute warrior game chase. Then Universe's most handsome seemed to trigger some kind of warning and was suddenly startled, much to 05's amusement. Immediately after, an explosion erupted, smoke and dust billowed, and Universe's most handsome froze, sitting on the ground crying like a child. Qin Sheng was having a blast. A big winner tonight, 6 million incoming. A pop-up window appeared, showing that Universe's most handsome, ranked 8th in the entire Black Empire, had actually lost. She took a sip of water, satisfied, and casually advertised the repair system. In her past life, Fengfei Group had used all sorts of despicable means to obstruct Fu Ji's company. This money she had earned. Lu Ming was sprawled on the ground, his soul scattered, howling like a ghost. My 120 million is gone. He sat up, gnashing his teeth, his face full of unwillingness. I have to go find Big Brother. The door was quickly pushed open, accompanied by an urgent voice. Big Brother, look, your cute little brother has been bullied. Lu Ming handed the game with a defeat notification to Fu Hanquan. You're the head of the Black Empire. Help me teach him a lesson. Fu Hanquan looked at the account name, quite surprised. 05. Lu Ming nodded frantically. That's him. But in his heart, he had a faint suspicion. Could it be Qin Sheng? He returned the phone to Lu Ming, saying without interest, You caused this trouble yourself. Solve it yourself. Lu Ming pouted. Brother, can you not be so heartless? Fu Hanquan's mind wandered again. Qin Sheng was quiet and well-behaved. Could she be 05? He thought, wondering if she was asleep. The photo on the table was of Qin Sheng. Suddenly, a message popped up on his phone. It was from Qin Sheng. Fugu, are you free tomorrow? Could you use your ID to help me open a bank account? Please. Lu Ming chimed in. You have a girlfriend? No wonder you're ignoring me. Fu Hanquan looked disgusted and directly kicked Lu Ming out. Get out, don't disturb my peace. Meanwhile, Fu Hanquan replied, As long as it's you, anytime. Qin Sheng lay on the bed, feeling delighted. Fugu is always on my side. So great. The next morning, Fu Hanquan leaned back in his chair, playing with his teacup, suddenly. Hearing a noise, he turned around to see Qin Sheng. She skipped over, waving, Fugu, you're here so early. As she sat down, he smiled slightly. Just arrived. He pushed the bank card towards her. Your bank card. Qin Sheng happily accepted it. Thank you, Fugu. She thought to herself, great, now Qin Hai won't be able to trace my money. I need to hide my strength before leaving the Qin family. Then Fu Hanquan casually asked, Sheng, do you still want to stay in the Qin family? If you want to leave, I can help you. Hearing this, her heart trembled. In her past life, he had asked her countless times, but she was too foolish then, unable to distinguish who was sincere and who was pretending. She said seriously, I will find a way to leave the Qin family myself. He gently ruffled her hair. Sheng, Grandpa and I will always be good to you. At this moment, Qin Chu Rou happened to pass by and saw them, suspicion rising in her heart. Qin Sheng is actually with a boy. The more she looked at Fu Hanquan, the stranger she felt. A high nose bridge, sexy thin lips. How could there be such a handsome man? But Qin Chu Rou's face quickly twisted. I've never seen such a handsome man. He can't be Qin Sheng's. At the table, Fu Hanquan carefully peeled shrimp for Qin Sheng. Here, have some shrimp. She happily accepted. Qin Chu Rou rushed over, clinging to her. Sister, why are you here? I wanted to invite you to go shopping. Why are you ignoring me? She even had the nerve to ask, Sister, is this your friend? Aren't you going to introduce him to me? Fu Hanchuan was completely unfazed by her aura. Qin Chu Rou kept pestering her, and Xine Shang, annoyed, retorted directly, What's it to you? Are we close? Why are you acting like we're so intimate? Qin Chu Rou was taken aback, thinking, this dead girl actually embarrassed me in public. She immediately switched to a soft tone. Sister, I know that Mom and Dad have favored me for the past 10 years, and it's normal that you don't like me, but it's not something I can decide. She continued, If you're unhappy, I'll move out immediately. Just please forgive me. Anything. Xine Shang sat there, already irritated. Qin Chu Rou thought to herself, just pretend, Xine Shang, the angrier the better, so he can see your true colors. Then he'll pity me, and I can crush you. Fu Hanchuan finally spoke. If you care so much about Xine Shang's feelings, then move out of the Qin family. He added, Xine Shang doesn't like you. Qin Chu Rou screamed internally, Wait, don't men all like the weak and helpless type? Fu Hanchuan, also growing impatient, stood up and said, Xine Shang, it's getting late. I'll take you home. Xine Shang nodded without hesitation. Before leaving, she sneered at Qin Chu Rou. Qin Chu Rou, you love acting so much. Don't you find it tiring to always wear a mask? Qin Chu Rou stubbornly called after her, Sister, are you misunderstanding something? But Xine Shang didn't bother to respond, walking straight ahead. Suddenly, she turned back and warned, Stop pretending, okay? I've already said, what doesn't belong to you? No matter how hard you try, you won't get it. Qin Chu Rou trembled with anger, thinking indignantly, Xine Shang, who do you think you are, daring to mock me? That perfect man is prejudiced against me. It must be because that little vixen Xine Shang is talking bad about me behind my back. Just you wait, Xine Shang. The scene changed to the Qin family home. As soon as Xine Shang got home, she received a large sum of money. 800,000 was deposited into her account, ending in 888, her balance suddenly jumping to 6,800,000. She grinned. Fantastic. This security system project for those companies really paid off. Suddenly she realized, it seems Qin Chu Rou has caused trouble again. Her family was all there. Her father, mother, and younger sister, Qin Chu Rou. All three stared at her with strange expressions. Qin Hai spoke, I heard you're getting close to some man. She replied indifferently, just a friend. Seeing this, Qin Chu Rou immediately added fuel to the fire. Dad, who peels shrimp for just a friend? And pats their head. Qin Hai thought to himself, we took Xine Shang back so she could enter a beneficial marriage for the company. If she's entangled with another man, what value does she have? Qin Chu Rou then put on a wronged expression and said to her mother, Mom and Dad, I don't mean anything by it. I'm just afraid that Sister will be deceived by some man and get hurt. Seeing her daughter upset, Lin Xia comforted her. Chu Rou, some people just don't understand gratitude. No matter how good we are to her, it's useless. You are our daughter. You don't have to force yourself to worry about that ungrateful wretch. Even being spoken to like this, Xine Shang calmly continued eating. By now, Qin Hai was furious. Xine Shang, how old are you? You just got home and you're thinking about dating. You're still in your last year of high school. Your studies are the most important thing. If you don't break off your relationship with that boy, don't even think about stepping foot in the Qin house again. Hearing this, Xine Shang calmly replied, That suits me just fine. She stood up and said with a smile, Remember to transfer my household registration out. It would be best if you also prepared a statement of severance of relations. Seeing her husband's anger, Lin Xia quickly tried to smooth things over. Don't be angry. Since this girl came back, there hasn't been a day of peace in this house. Seeing her parents' expressions, Qin Chu Rou smiled to herself. Yes, that's it. The more Mom and Dad hate Xine Shang, the more I'll be their good daughter. Back in her room, Xine Shang sat at her computer and thought, in my past life, I was busy working for the Qin family, neglecting my own career. I originally wanted to develop virtual reality games. OC, the top hacker of the Black Empire. If I could get him into my company, he would be my right-hand man. She smiled slightly and immediately started to act. I'm not sure if I can win, but I have to try. At Fu Hanchuan's house, a warning message suddenly popped up on his computer screen. He frowned, thinking QS. He immediately messaged QS. What's up? As expected, this was the first time in both his lives that someone had detected his intrusion. C truly lives up to her reputation. She took the opportunity to ask C, I want to start my own business. Are you interested? Fu Hanchuan, still unaware that it was Xine Shang messaging him, simply replied, Not interested. Xine Shang felt a little disappointed and replied, Sorry to bother you. as expected of a master hacker, very difficult to deal with. It seems I can only force him to comply with my skills. Who would agree just by being asked nicely? Qin Sheng was in big trouble this time. Having provoked the hacker C, she would likely find it hard to escape. Don't even think about running. Hacker C sent all sorts of provocative messages, completely teasing Qin Sheng. But the stronger the opponent, the more excited Qin Sheng became. It was the first time someone had been able to trap her. How interesting. Error messages flashed across her computer screen. Qin Sheng had to admit, Hacker C's skills truly lived up to their reputation. Meanwhile, Fu Hanchuan watched Qin Sheng's actions while leisurely sipping his wine, a smirk playing on his lips. Things were getting interesting. Suddenly, his computer also started beeping with alerts. Only then did he truly take this contest with Qin Sheng seriously. Both of them went all out, attacking and defending relentlessly. The atmosphere was as tense as a drawn bowstring. Qin Sheng continued to attack, while Fu Hanchuan defended like an impenetrable wall. In the final round, Qin Sheng fought with all her might to break through Fu Hanchuan's encirclement and actually succeeded. So awesome. Qin Sheng grinned smugly. You're strong, she said, but don't think you can trap me forever. Fu Hanchuan scratched his head, looking perplexed. This opponent was truly difficult to deal with. Wait, what exactly is the relationship between QS and Qin Sheng? However, her skills were still a bit inferior to C's. C was too difficult to deal with, so she could only temporarily let it go and find another target. It was time to meet in person. At the Fei Yuan Technology Company, she took out her notebook and crossed out C's name, replacing it with Fei Yuan. It seemed this was her plan B. Cut to the front of Fei Yuan Technology. The gates were closed, surrounded by a crowd, and a man who looked particularly dejected. Mr. Hong, I never thought I'd see the day you went bankrupt. The man was Hong Yuan, the owner of the recently bankrupt Fei Yuan Company. A man in the distance gave Hong Yuan a sinister smile. Du Kaifeng, how could you betray my trust? Hong Yuan shouted angrily at the man. The man wasn't someone to be trifled with. After you handed the company over to me, didn't I manage it quite well? He retorted, everything I have today, I owe to you, Mr. Hong. You're my lucky star. The man's face became even more smug, a cold smile playing on his lips. It turned out he was Du Kaifeng, the CEO of Blue Whale Technology. Mr. Hong lost control, grabbing Du Kaifeng by the collar and roaring, Du Kaifeng, you animal. You stole my company and drove me to bankruptcy. Du Kaifeng remained calm. Are you going to hit me? Do you want compensation or jail time? I'm happy to oblige. Mr. Hong was utterly helpless at this moment, collapsing to the ground. His wife had just passed away. He couldn't let his son lose his father too. Du Kaifeng said triumphantly, Hong Yuan, face reality. As long as I'm still around, you'll never recover. Mr. Hong could only cover his face and weep. His wife had just died, and his company had collapsed. How could he possibly turn things around? Just then, a hand offered him a tissue. He looked up in surprise. It was Qin Sheng. She bowed slightly. Hello, Mr. Hong, she said. Mr. Hong asked in surprise, what can I do for you? He probably hadn't expected anyone to offer him comfort. I can help your company at this time. Let's talk, she suggested. In the cafe, Qin Sheng placed a contract in front of Mr. Hong. I'm Qin Sheng. This is my proposal. Please take a look. Mr. Hong asked suspiciously, did you really write this? He picked up the contract, stunned. I can't believe I'm pinning my hopes on a young girl. I'm really overthinking this. He pondered, looking at the contract. A comprehensive intelligence game. Who could make such a thing? This game is just a fantasy. He hesitated for a moment, then opened the contract. He flipped through the pages. Oh, a comprehensive intelligence game. You made this proposal yourself, and you developed the technology too. Yes, Qin Sheng replied without hesitation. Qin Sheng sat there, her expression calm, not caring about his doubts. Mr. Hong asked again, may I ask you a question, Miss Qin? How old are you? Qin Sheng remained composed, looking directly into his eyes. Almost 18. I have the core technology to develop a comprehensive intelligence game, she stated firmly. She continued, I wonder if Mr. Hong would be willing to join my company. She added to herself, but recalling my past life, during this time, Hong Yuan had 2 game patents stolen from him, leading to his bankruptcy. Yet, a few years later, he became famous in the gaming world. This time, I'll help him rise to the top in one go. Hey, buddy, I'm planning to start a game company. Want to be my manager? Qin Sheng casually threw out the bait. But Hong Yuan seemed apprehensive defensive, like a worried older brother. Xin, if Fu Hanchuan finds out I'm helping you, he definitely won't let you off the hook, he said in a low voice. You should find someone else. I don't want to drag you down. It seemed Xin Shang had seen through him all along. She maintained a relaxed demeanor. You won't drag me down. I've had my eye on your abilities for a while now. Hearing this, Hong Yuan suddenly felt a warmth in his heart, like someone had patted him on the back. He was probably persuaded. Xin Shang took out the contract. Since I'm not yet 18, the company will be under your name for now. You'll be responsible for all company affairs. I'll transfer the money to you later. Hong Yuan quickly signed the contract without hesitation. They both stood up and shook hands briskly, saying simultaneously, "Happy cooperation. Happy cooperation, Mr. Hong." With everything settled, Xin Shang headed straight for the stock exchange. The hundreds of millions she had hacked seemed insignificant compared to developing the game. She grinned. However, I still need more funds. Chaos reigned within the stock exchange. The crowd huddled around the large screen, faces screwed up like monkeys that had eaten chili peppers, their brows furrowed as they murmured amongst themselves. It plummeted the moment it opened. Can this stock even be saved? I thought I'd found a treasure, but now all my principal is gone. While the market crashed, Xin Shang sat calmly, seemingly unaffected. Seeing this, the crowd whispered, "We all bought the same stock, but why is that girl so calm? We're like headless chickens. We can't even sell, just watch our money evaporate." Suddenly, someone shouted, "Good news. The stock has stopped falling. By the time the seedlings grow, my mom's face will be swollen." Xin Shang immediately jumped up and headed straight for the service counter. Sitting down at the computer, she entered the amount she wanted to buy, 250 million, and clicked buy without hesitation. A kind elderly gentleman cautioned her, 250 million, young lady. Buying the stock now is not safe. This company just had a scandal. It might go bankrupt in a few days and your money will be gone. But Xin Shang remained calm and continued her operation. Next, she entered 500 million and clicked buy even more decisively. The elderly gentleman beside her trembled. "Young lady, don't be so impulsive. Where did this child come from, throwing money away like this?" He muttered to himself. Gradually, everyone around them stared at Xin Shang. She became the center of attention. This girl must be a spendthrift, not caring about spending her parents' money. Probably a rich heiress. A few hundred million is nothing to her. Yeah, she dares to buy from a company that's about to go bankrupt. She must be something else. The crowd grew larger, surrounding her. Faced with everyone's concern, Xin Shang simply said, "This stock will rise." The crowd was speechless. Isn't this girl afraid of jinxing it? She has money and doesn't fear losing it, but we're ordinary people. One fall and we're finished. They began to disperse. Let's go. Only lunatics and rich people dare to buy this stock. We should just wait to sell our own shares and try not to lose too much. Unlike the others, the elderly gentleman smiled and asked Xin Shang, "Young lady, how do you know this stock will rise?" She turned and simply replied, "Intuition." She finished with a mysterious smile. The elderly gentleman could only fall silent, scratching his head. This was the first time he had seen someone rely on intuition to play the stock market. Suddenly, the entire trading hall erupted. My God, someone just bought 100 million worth of that stock. The elderly gentleman was startled. He turned around, but only saw Xin Shang leisurely leaving. She thought to herself, this is not just Daijiang stock. This is the first investment of my life. The scene shifted to Fu Hanchuan's company, where an assistant walked in. Director. It was Assistant Lin, Fu Hanchuan's capable assistant. Fu Hanchuan looked up and asked, "Did Li Long take care of it?" Assistant Lin immediately replied, "As per your instructions, 100 million shares have been purchased." But Assistant Lin couldn't help but ask, "But, President, Daijiang is about to go bankrupt. Why are we still buying?" Fu Hanchuan paused his work and patiently explained, "To take control of Daijiang. Although the company has problems, its technology and patents are quite good. We now hold 35% of Daijiang's shares and are the largest shareholder. These 100 million shares are for cashing out at a high price." Assistant Lin took the documents from Fu Hanchuan and nodded. "I'll arrange it immediately. Our president is truly a master. A casual move, and he earns billions. A true giant of the financial world." A while later, Xin Shang returned home. Passing by the living room, she saw her family of 3 watching TV. The news was broadcasting a stock signing ceremony. The sound from the TV made Xin Shang turn her head. Happy cooperation. HD Group and the pharmaceutical group are cooperating to provide Daijiang with funds and a technical team. We hope Daijiang can make further progress in the future. Qin Hai sighed. Who would have thought that Daijiang stock would rise against the trend, increasing 18-fold in 3 days? I wouldn't have sold if I had known. Hearing this, Xian Shang smiled at her father. Everything was as expected. Qin Chu Rou saw Xian Shang and asked with feigned concern, "Sister, are you interested in stocks too? It's not something just anyone can play." But Xian Shang ignored her again, unwilling to deal with this hypocritical family member, and quietly went upstairs to her room. Seeing Xian Shang's coldness towards Qin Chu Rou, Qin Hai muttered to himself, so ill-mannered. Then an idea flashed through his mind. With such a heavy loss in the stock market this time, I need to expedite Xian Shang's marriage. Back in her room, Xian Shang sat down, smiling as she looked at the money in her account. Now she had officially become a little rich woman. 3 days, 1 million turned into 2 billion. Not bad, a little rich woman indeed, she thought, giggling to herself. Early morning, H City High School. Isn't that her? Xian Shang bounced down the hallway on her way to class, unintentionally overhearing the whispers of the students around her. Yeah, she's pretty, but who knew she was so promiscuous? I heard Xian Shang is being kept by someone. Some guy said she's even prettier than your girlfriend. I think Xian Shang isn't even fit to shine your girlfriend's shoes. Leading the gossip was one of Qin Chu Rou's followers. Seeing her friend fanning the flames with such enthusiasm, the girl feigned innocence. Oh, don't say that. She's quite pretty. It's just a shame she made a mistake this time. Listening to her friends gossiping about Xian Shang, Qin Chu Rou revealed a sly smile. I didn't exaggerate anything. That man is definitely older than Xian Shang. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Xian Shang's desk mate was eavesdropping on the nasty rumors about her best friend. She immediately jumped up like a startled hedgehog. Shang, are you okay? Don't listen to their nonsense. Our Shang is so beautiful. Finding a few young, rich guys would be a piece of cake. She added indignantly, who needs some old man anyway? Seeing her desk mate defending her, Xian Shang giggled and pinched her cheek. So you're saying I'm being kept by a young hunk? Hearing this, her friend quickly waved her hands. No, that's not what I meant. Xian Shang is definitely not being kept. I was just making an analogy. Just then, Lin Feng turned around and joined Xian Shang's protective squad. I believe you, Shangjia. I saw some jerks insulting you earlier, and I already taught them a lesson. His underlings chimed in, Xian Shang, we all believe you. You're so beautiful and cool. How could you be kept by some old man? Seeing everyone comforting her, Xian Shang felt a warmth in her heart. Thank you guys. It's great to have friends. She smiled radiantly. At the Qin family villa, Qin Hai was furious with Xian Shang. Xian Shang, stop right there. The principal called me. You must break up with that old man immediately. A high school student being kept. Is that even appropriate? Facing his roar, Xian Shang remained indifferent. After listening to his outburst, she turned and asked, are you so sure I did that? Qin Hai stubbornly insisted, if you didn't do it, why would there be such rumors? Hearing this, Xian Shang just smiled faintly. Yeah, you never believe me. With that, Xian Shang turned and went upstairs, leaving behind only one sentence. In that case, don't bother with my affairs anymore. Qin Hai's face turned red with anger. He pointed at Xian Shang and roared, how could I have a daughter like you? The scene shifted to Fu Hanchuan's home, where he was concentrating on his work. At this moment, his younger brother, Lu Ming, tiptoed over. Brother, can I borrow your high-spec computer? No, Fu Hanchuan coldly refused. Then, Lu Ming noticed Xian Shang's photo on his brother's phone screen and immediately asked gossipingly, brother, do you know this girl? Everyone at school is talking about her being kept by an older man. However, Lu Ming added, but she's really pretty. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Ming suddenly felt a chill and subconsciously glanced at his brother. Fu Hanchuan's eyes were sharp as knives, filled with murderous intent. He suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I'm such an idiot. The person my brother keeps on his phone screen must be the one he likes. That must be my future sister-in-law. So Lu Ming quickly tried to remedy the situation. Brother, don't worry, there's no concrete evidence. It must just be a rumor. Sister-in-law is so beautiful, and beautiful girls are always easy targets for jealousy. Hearing this, Fu Hanchuan finally relaxed. You're at school. Let me know if anything happens. He then stared at the photo on his phone, his fingers unconsciously caressing her face. After everything was settled, Fu Hanchuan vowed to Lu Ming, "Don't worry, your brother will cherish Shang like glass. The computer is yours." Hearing this good news, Lu Ming happily ran out, probably dancing in his heart. "Sister-in-law, you're the best." After escorting his mischievous brother out, Fu Hanchuan immediately called Assistant Lin. Xian Shang is being framed at school. Find out what's going on immediately. On the other end of the phone, Assistant Lin immediately accepted the order. "Mr. Fu, I suspect Qin Chu Rou is behind this, but she's acting too well. I haven't caught her red-handed yet." Hearing the name Qin Chu Rou, Fu Hanchuan frowned. Qin Chu Rou. Hasn't the Qin family been eyeing that piece of land? Just buy it. Money is no object. Assistant Lin immediately understood. The scene returned to the Qin family. Qin Hai was on pins and needles. Hearing this news, he yelled, "Chairman Fong, haven't we already reached an agreement?" On the other end of the phone, Chairman Fong sounded indifferent. "The contract hasn't been signed yet, who knows? Honestly, I'm afraid of HD Group. You'll have to discuss the rest with them yourself." He then hung up the phone. Chairman Fong was given the cold shoulder. Qin Hai was anxious and angry, wondering who in H City would dare to provoke the Fu Corporation. But the land was too important. He had to go. Arriving at Fu Corporation, Qin Hai immediately presented his business card, blinking at the receptionist. "Could I see your chairman?" he asked. The receptionist replied in a monotonous tone, "Please wait a moment. I'll contact him for you." Qin Hai rejoiced inwardly. This might work. The receptionist called her boss and, after receiving permission, turned to Qin Hai. "Please wait in the reception area. The chairman will see you after the meeting." Qin Hai nodded repeatedly. Okay. Qin Hai was ecstatic. He hadn't expected the notoriously elusive chairman of Fu Corporation to agree to see him. Time ticked by, and he waited for a full 5 hours. Qin Hai stubbornly continued to wait, growing restless. He thought, 5 hours, are they trying to brush me off? Just then, Assistant Lin appeared. Qin Hai was overjoyed, assuming that with Assistant Lin's arrival, he would finally meet the chairman. He hurried towards Assistant Lin, extending his hand with a broad smile. "Hello, Assistant Lin." But Assistant Lin, full of airs, retracted his hand and said coldly, "Hello." Humiliated, Qin Hai withdrew his hand. "Are you taking me to see the chairman?" Assistant Lin spoke frankly. "The chairman is very busy. He sent me to see you. Just tell me what you want." Qin Hai quickly adopted a humble posture, pleading, "The Qin family really needs that land in North City. Could you please give it up? The price is negotiable." Assistant Lin bluntly replied, "Chairman Qin, to be honest, your daughter played tricks on our chairman. So, you can forget about that land." Qin Hai's face instantly paled. "What? My Qin Sheng provoked your chairman?" After hearing Assistant Lin's words, Qin Hai forced a smile. "I'll take responsibility for whatever Xian Shang did. Or do you want me to hand her over?" Assistant Lin remained expressionless, saying coldly, "Was I talking about Xian Shang?" Understanding the implication, Qin Hai stammered, "Are you talking about Chu Rou?" His mind was in turmoil. "My daughter has always been well-behaved outside. How could she offend such an important person?" Back home, he sat in a daze, thinking, Fu Corporation snatched my land and said my daughter offended their chairman. Hearing her father's words, Qin Chu Rou immediately started playing the victim, shifting the blame to Xian Shang. Sister only hangs out with unsavory people at school. It must be her who provoked someone. Although Qin Chu Rou was putting on an act, Xian Shang remained indifferent, continuing to eat, too lazy to argue. Qin Hai turned to Qin Chu Rou, worriedly saying, "Chu, Assistant Lin said you offended the chairman. Think carefully. Have you done anything recently?" Hearing Qin Hai's words, Qin Chu Rou's face paled, and she quickly denied it. "Dad, I didn't." Lin Shuya immediately jumped to her daughter's defense. "Qin Hai, what do you mean? It definitely wasn't Chu Rou." She suddenly turned to Xian Shang, gritting her teeth. "Xian Shang, did you do something and try to frame Chu Rou?" Xian Shang put down her chopsticks and said calmly, "Qin Hai already said it was Chu Rou, and you still don't believe it." She then sneered, "She's your daughter, am I not? Could you be any more biased?" Hearing Xian Shang's words, Lin Shuya avoided her gaze. Qin Chu Rou put on a frail appearance again. "Dad, I really didn't offend anyone. It must be a misunderstanding." But inside, she was panicked and annoyed. "Recently, I only spread rumors about Xian Shang being kept by a rich man. Could it be? Impossible. Xian Shang, just came back from the countryside. How could she know such a powerful person? Seeing Qin Chu Rou's fear, Qin Hai quickly comforted her. All right, Chu. Be careful in the future, and don't take any more risks. She said obediently, I understand, Dad. I'm sorry. Xian Shang simply smiled faintly at this affectionate scene between father and daughter. Her attitude made Qin Chu Rou even more furious and jealous. Is she mocking me? Then, Qin Chu Rou feigned innocence. Dad, men all like pretty girls, right? Why don't we be proactive? I don't mind. I just want to make amends. The chairman must be an old man. Just you wait, Xian Shang. I'll make you pay. Qin Hai quickly stopped her. That's too risky. Let Dad think of another way. Xian Shang is quite attractive. Men like her. It's a waste for her to be a mistress. It would be more profitable to marry her into a wealthy family. Xian Shang abruptly stood up. I'm full. You guys take your time discussing. She turned and left with only one thought in mind. I need to leave this house as soon as possible. These people only know how to scheme and plot against each other. Back in her room, she sat in the corner, pondering her next move. The game company is short-staffed. This UB, although a bit arrogant and difficult, is quite capable. Why not send him an invitation directly and see what happens? Elsewhere, a man sat in front of his computer and received a message. Our company is developing a super intelligent game. Are you interested in joining? Sure. Let me see if you guys are actually capable. As soon as Xian Shang received the message from that guy, she replied, okay, see you at the hacking competition. He wasn't one to back down either, retorting impressive. See you there. At the hacking competition, Xian Shang and the guy faced off directly. They went back and forth, both displaying exceptionally high skills. The male hacker said smugly, is that all you've got? Too weak. Suddenly, Xian Shang unleashed her trump card, catching him completely off guard. What's happening? He exclaimed, his face full of disbelief. The audience buzzed with excitement. Is that a new record? These two are insane. Their IDs are both from China. They must be Chinese. The previous record was 70 levels. At this speed, they're definitely over 90. Xian Shang said to the guy, keep going. With that, she accelerated, leaving her opponent far behind. The male hacker was utterly shocked. Just what kind of god is this? As expected, Xian Shang won again. QS wins. QS has cleared 93 levels, breaking the competition record. After the competition, Xian Shang shook hands with the guy and said, you're very skilled. He was completely impressed by her. You're even more skilled. I'm thoroughly convinced. Xian Shang then told him that her company was still in its preparatory stages and there was no rush for him to join. He agreed somewhat reluctantly. All right, but you have to tell me who you are, he asked. Xian Shang replied mysteriously, QS. He suddenly realized, QS. Aren't you the Black Emperor that everyone's been talking about lately? I heard you were arrogant, but I didn't expect you to be this skilled in real life. Can you show me that complete intelligence system? He asked Xian Shang. Xian Shang immediately showed it to him, and he marveled why your technology is incredible. Xian Shang replied calmly, thank you for the compliment. This time, he truly wanted to work with Xian Shang. Even if you fire me later, I still want to join your company, even if I have to work for free. Xian Shang laughed and said, no need to work for free. I can afford to pay you. They reached an agreement, happy cooperation. After settling things with him, Xian Shang was in a great mood. Her game company was gradually taking shape. With company matters settled, Xian Shang began to focus on preparing for her semester exams. The following week at school, Class 4's homeroom teacher stood at the podium reminding everyone, don't be nervous, relax, and just do your best. In the distance, Class 1's homeroom teacher was also leading her students towards the exam hall and saw Class 4's teacher. She immediately started taunting. Some people just pick up anyone for their class. This time, their average score is definitely going to be dragged down. She was most likely thinking about that precious Lu Ming. But Class 1's homeroom teacher wasn't finished. Continuing, being the homeroom teacher of the worst class is harder than teaching for 10 years. At this point, Class 4's homeroom teacher stared at her seriously and said, good students, bad students, they are all our students. Xian Shang witnessed Class 1's homeroom teacher's behavior the entire time. She walked forward with a cold smile and said, Teacher Liang Hua, you're not fit to be a teacher. Liang Hua was shocked and furious. What did you say? What do you mean? Explain yourself. Saying this, she angrily grabbed Xian Shang's collar. But Xian Shang remained calm, pushing her hand away. Let go of me. She then left. Class 4 students turned around and scoffed at Liang Hua. Liang Hua thought angrily. Just wait until after the exams. Let's see if you can still laugh then. How can the first question be so difficult? Who wrote this exam? This knowledge point is beyond the syllabus. I'm finished. I'm definitely going to fail this time. The students in the exam hall were all stumped. Only Qin Sheng remained calm. Suddenly, she put down her pen and laid down on the desk to sleep. Seeing this, the proctor thought to themselves, sleeping right after the exam starts. How can her grades be any good? There's half an hour left. Everyone, please hurry up. You can submit your exam early if you're finished. The exam hall was filled with bewilderment. This exam is impossible to finish. Who can submit early? I'm struggling to even finish on time. This exam is too difficult. Even I find it difficult, let alone the students. The proctor pondered, chin in hand, this time the class average. Suddenly, someone submitted their exam early. Are you sure you want to submit? Qin Sheng calmly replied, yes. The teacher panicked slightly. Are you sure you're done? Don't you want your score? Qin Sheng remained calm and turned to leave. Qin Chu Rou witnessed the whole thing, gritting her teeth and thinking, I prepared so thoroughly for this, but the situation is not good. I haven't even finished half, and she's already submitted. She must have given up. In terms of grades, she is completely lost to me. You can't surpass me even outside the exam hall. Seeing Qin Sheng emerge so quickly, Liang Hua thought, she finished that fast. Qin Sheng has always been talentless. Their class average must be the lowest in the school. Would she still be so arrogant then? I'm not fit to be a teacher. Lin Ku is. Liang Hua seethed with resentment. All of my students get into prestigious universities, while hers can barely get into any college. On the day the results were released, Liang Hua was discussing her student scores. Teacher Liang, I heard your class did exceptionally well again. When will I be able to teach like you? Your class must be in the top 3 again. Sui Tuo first, Lu Ming second, and Qin Chu Rou definitely third. So MBA, another bonus in your pocket. Haha, it's just that I teach well. She picked up the ranking list. Let me see their rankings. What? Sui Tuo from class 2 is second. Liang Hua panicked. If it wasn't Sui Tuo from class 2, then who was it? Not class 1, class 2, or class 3? Could it be class 4? The teachers were also puzzled. Class 4 was the most unremarkable class in the entire school. Could it be? The teachers carefully checked the scores. A perfect score in every subject. Qin Sheng must have cheated. I have to tell the principal. Liang Hua stormed into the principal's office. Principal, Qin Sheng is a poor student from the countryside. How could she possibly get first place? She definitely cheated. Principal, I proctored Qin Sheng's exam. There was absolutely no cheating. The proctor spoke up. Liang Hua still didn't believe it. If she didn't cheat in the exam hall, she must have cheated outside. Maybe she knew the questions beforehand and looked up the answers online. The principal said, Teacher Liang, you say Qin Sheng cheated. Do you have any proof? Principal, Qin Sheng's answers are identical to the answer key. What else could it be but cheating? This kind of student should be expelled. Liang Hua pointed at Qin Sheng. Then she turned to Qin Sheng. You dare to provoke me. You're finished. We'll see who's finished. Qin Sheng smiled. I didn't expect you to fall into my trap so easily. Principal, if I didn't cheat and Teacher Liang falsely accused me, how should this be handled? She turned to the principal. I will handle it seriously and give you justice. Satisfied with the response, Qin Sheng said, then I'll retake the exam right now to prove my complete innocence. Qin Sheng, if you can prove you didn't cheat, I will apologize to you in front of the entire school. Liang Hua said confidently, but if you cheat, don't blame me for expelling you. No school will accept you then. Okay, let's set the questions now. So Teacher Liang can't say, I peeked at the backup questions beforehand. Qin Sheng's lips curved into a smile. We can ask teachers from other subjects to set the questions. She's too confident to compete with me. Liang Hua watched Qin Sheng answer the questions, thinking, these questions were created by the teachers after extensive research. They're even harder than the last time. I can't even solve them myself. Let's see what she does. I'm finished. Qin Sheng turned to Liang Hua. If Qin Sheng gets everything right, I'll quit teaching. Liang Hua was still confident, believing Qin Sheng couldn't possibly solve them. Liang Hua stared at Qin Sheng's answers, her face filled with terror. All correct. Qin Sheng had answered every question the teachers had set correctly. Teachers, please announce Qin Sheng's results, the principal said. Chinese, math, physics, biology, chemistry, all perfect scores. My English score is also perfect, Liang Hua said reluctantly. Teacher Liang, do you have anything else to say? The principal asked sternly. Nothing, Liang Hua replied in a low voice, her face pale. Liang Hua, you're finished, Qin Sheng whispered to her. Liang Hua finally understood. This was all a trap set by Qin Sheng, waiting for her to jump in. Her expression grew increasingly anxious. Principal, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first, Qin Sheng said, leaving without looking back, leaving only a humiliated Liang Hua, her head bowed in anger. Suddenly, Qin Sheng turned around, a smile playing on her lips. Teacher Liang, don't forget your apology. Hearing this, the principal immediately said, don't worry, the teacher will never go back on her word. Then, in a somber voice, he threatened Liang Hua. Right, Teacher Liang? Liang Hua flinched. Yes, yes. She nodded repeatedly, trembling with rage inside. It's all Qin Sheng's fault. That little bitch made me lose face. The scene shifted to Class 1. Everyone stop, Liang Hua yelled. Everyone says you're the best students in number 1 high school senior year. Why are your scores so poor this time? Did you just ignore everything I said? You all seem to work so hard. So how did Qin Sheng from Class 4 get first place? Hearing this, the students of Class 1 could only lower their heads in silence. Hearing the teachers say Qin Sheng got first place, the students below began to whisper. First place. Qin Chu Rou thought, Qin Sheng's grades have always been bad. I kept mocking her, saying there was no way Class 4 could come in first. She immediately raised her hand and said, Teacher Liang Hua, I know Qin Sheng's score can't be that good. She must have cheated. Hearing Qin Chu Rou say this, Liang Hua became even angrier. Liang Hua immediately threw a stack of test papers in front of Qin Chu Rou, startling her. Don't worry, she didn't cheat. Then, she scolded Qin Chu Rou. As for you, your grades are so poor this time, only 11th place. Reflect on yourself. Stop dreaming about participating in the math competition. You won't have a single chance this time, Liang Hua threatened. Qin Chu Rou felt utterly humiliated. She thought, if Qin Sheng hadn't come back, I wouldn't have to suffer this. Why does she always like to steal what belongs to me? Her face darkened with resentment. Fine, you won't let me compete at school, but luckily there's still the external painting competition. When I win an award and bring honor to the school, we'll see how you deal with me then. The scene changes to nighttime. Qin Sheng is concentrating on drawing in her room when suddenly her phone rings. Qin Sheng, sorry to bother you. Are you free so late? Come to my house this weekend. Grandpa really misses you. It was Fu Hanchuan calling. Okay, I also have something I want to ask Grandpa. Qin Sheng happily agreed. The weekend arrived. Qin Sheng, you're finally here. Grandpa has missed you so much. Grandpa Lu greeted her with a smile. Grandpa, this is the piece I'm preparing for the city painting competition. It's not finished yet, just a draft on the computer. Could you take a look? Qin Sheng, you can paint too. Grandpa Lu asked in surprise. Grandpa Lu happily took the drawing. Finally, there's something I can help Qin Sheng with. Fu Hanchuan frowned at the painting, thinking this painting is exactly the same as the one in my dream. How could Qin Sheng have drawn it? Qin Sheng, you paint so well, even an old man like me feels ashamed. However, this painting is a bit heavy. You could add a window here to let the light in, to bring in some hope. He praised and commented at the same time. Thank you, Grandpa. I've been wondering about that, and with your guidance, I understand now, Qin Sheng said happily. Qin Sheng, you really have a talent for painting. You can come to me anytime. Although I don't have many other skills, I'm better at painting than those national painters. You could even call me Master, he said while stroking Qin Sheng's head. As long as you don't find me annoying. They chatted until late. It's getting late. Let me take you back. Fu Hanchuan drove Qin Sheng home and asked her, Qin Sheng, where did you get the inspiration for that painting? I had a very long dream, as if I saw something that happened in a past life. Can I tell you about the dream? Yes. In the dream, I saw an abandoned farm. As Fu Hanchuan listened to Qin Sheng's story, he thought, this dream is exactly the same as the one I had, only mine was more detailed and specific. Hearing Qin Sheng tell it makes it even more heartbreaking. He immediately took Qin Sheng's hand and comforted her. Qin Sheng, whether that dream is real or not, I will do everything in my power to protect you. Hearing this, Qin Sheng's face flushed slightly. Qin Sheng spoke to Fu Hanchuan on the phone. Thanks for helping me register. I really appreciate it. Fu Hanchuan said, don't mention it. Between us, there's no need for thanks. The two were in sync. Qin Sheng arrived at her newly established company, finally got the company up and running. She looked at her office area. This is just the beginning. My real goal is to build the headquarters in the capital. In the office, someone asked manager Hong Yuan, what kind of person is the boss? Is he a middle-aged uncle with a beer belly? Hong Yuan just smiled. You'll find out soon. Not long after, Hong Yuan suddenly stood up. The boss is here. It was Qin Sheng who walked in. The person rushed up to Qin Sheng. Hey, you came alone. Where's your boyfriend? Is he afraid I'll run away? He had a self-satisfied look. Qin Sheng just crossed her arms and looked at him coldly. Hong Yuan walked over, patted the person on the shoulder, and whispered, she's the boss. The person froze instantly, as if petrified. Qin Sheng greeted him. Hello, I'm QS, the one who broke the record with you in the hacking competition. He stammered as he shook her hand. Hello, I'm UBAY, the one you completely defeated in the hacking competition. He thought to himself, I can't believe I lost to a young girl. How unfortunate. Qin Sheng tossed him a document. This is the core technology for the intelligent integrated game. Study it carefully. He quickly thanked her. Thank you, boss. I'll get right to work. Afterwards, Hong Yuan and Qin Sheng sat down to discuss business. Boss, although the company is registered, funds are still a little tight. He muttered quietly. Don't worry, I'll take care of the funding myself. Qin Sheng reassured him. The scene cuts to Qin Sheng meeting with Chairman Fong, the chairman of Fong Film and Television Company. Young lady, you're in the wrong room. There's someone else across the hall. He pointed at Qin Sheng as he spoke. No, I'm not. Hello, Chairman Fong. I'm Qin Sheng. You said you had a way to save Fong Corp, right? He asked suspiciously. I don't have time for games. Chairman Fong, I have a way to revive your company, make it even more successful than before. Qin Sheng spoke confidently, handing over a document. I think Chairman Fong could spare a few minutes to look at our company's business plan before making a decision. He picked it up and flipped through a few pages, exclaiming, this proposal covers all aspects of company and cinema management. It's incredibly valuable. If we follow her plan, the company will definitely recover. Chairman Fong sat down. Miss Qin, I don't know what you want, but you're also aware of my company's situation. I don't have the funds to collaborate with you, he said regretfully. After Fleeting Clouds premieres, I want 5% of the box office revenue. Qin Sheng stated her condition, thinking to herself, in my past life, Fleeting Clouds was a box office smash, earning $4.5 billion. This time, I definitely want a piece of the pie. Chairman Fong frowned. It's a new director's work. The industry is calling a flop. It's been shelved for a year. Qin Sheng nodded. Increase the number of screenings when it's released. There will be a surprise. Whatever. This proposal is more valuable than Fleeting Clouds itself. I have to get it. Qin Sheng didn't hesitate, deciding to collaborate with me. No problem, CEO Qin. Happy to work with you. Qin Sheng immediately extended her hand for a handshake. Happy to work with you. A week later, Fleeting Clouds premiered. At the same time, Fong Corp's rival, Flying Dragon Pictures, also released their new film, Wind and Dragon Chronicles. In the Fong Corp office, why are Fleeting Clouds' pre-sale box office numbers only 1/6 of Wind and Dragon Chronicles? Chairman Fong was very depressed, but Fleeting Clouds' word of mouth is better than Wind and Dragon Chronicles. There's still hope. Suddenly, an employee rushed in. Chairman Fong, Internet Trolls. Internet Trolls. Chairman Fong seemed to have anticipated this. Don't tell me Flying Dragon Pictures hired Internet Trolls to smear Fleeting Clouds. We don't have the money to hire trolls for reputation management. Are we really going to lose to Wind and Dragon Chronicles this time? The employee said happily, no, it's because they can't post any negative reviews about us. Chairman Fong was surprised and quickly checked. The scene cut to Flying Dragon Pictures. Didn't I tell you to manipulate public opinion and smear their movie? Why is there no movement yet? It turned out he was Lee Yongyan, the CEO of Flying Dragon Pictures. He was yelling at his employees. An employee tremblingly opened his computer to show him the reason. It's not that we're not posting. It's that we've encountered something strange. We can't post any negative reviews at all. As soon as we post, a warning pops up. Seeing this, Lee Yongyan became even angrier. Find a way for me. If you can't solve it, don't bother coming to work. He slammed his hand on the table. The employees turned pale with fright and hurriedly retreated. The scene returned to Fong Corporation. We post a comment and it disappears. It's so strange, the employee said excitedly. And tomorrow's pre-sale box office for Fleeting Clouds has already surpassed Wind and Dragon Chronicles by 10 times. Chairman Fong immediately thought of Xian Shang and picked up the phone to call her. CEO Xian, what's going on with the online reviews? Xian Shang replied, I just use a little trick to prevent them from posting negative reviews about Fleeting Clouds. Don't worry, I have a lot of confidence in Fleeting Clouds. The employee said excitedly, Fleeting Clouds is going to be a huge hit this time. Chairman Fong thought to himself, I absolutely cannot offend Xian Shang. This girl's abilities are too great, it's daunting. That evening, at the Fu family home, Fu Hanchuan walked while looking at his phone, thinking, Sister Shang always said she wanted to invest in this movie. I didn't expect it to be so popular. It looks like she's going to make a fortune. Fu Hanchuan thought happily, when suddenly a shrill voice rang out. Fu Hanchuan, you're half an hour late. You've got quite the airs about you, making the whole family wait for you to eat. The voice gradually dispelled his good mood. Fu Hanchuan frowned and coldly replied, I didn't ask you to wait. You unfilial child. Do you even have any respect for this family? A family of 5 sat around the dining table eating. Fu Hanchuan immediately retorted, do you even treat me like a son? Abandoning your wife and child, bringing that lowly woman into the family. What right do you have to call me unfilial? As soon as Fu Hanchuan spoke, his stepmother immediately moved closer to his father, her face creased in a frown. Fu Hanchuan, apologize to your aunt right now. His father shouted angrily, standing up and slamming the table. Seeing this, Fu Hanchuan was speechless, only frowning with an impatient look on his face. Grandpa Fu, seeing Fu Hanchuan's expression, stood up angrily and said, apologize for what? Hanchuan is right. A lowly dancer is worthy of stepping into the Fu family. Besides, have you ever cared for Hanchuan since he was young? You have the nerve to ask him to apologize to you. At this moment, Grandpa Fu walked over to Fu Hanchuan and said, Hanchuan, come, sit with Grandpa. Seeing this, Fu Hanchuan's stepmother immediately spoke up for her husband. Dad, Hongi really cares about Hanchuan. It's just that he's usually too busy with work. But these words only made Grandpa Fu angrier. The Fu family's matters are none of your business. After being scolded by Grandpa Fu, she immediately put on a guilty look, sticking her tongue out at him, but not daring to say another word. Grandpa Fu turned to Fu Hanchuan and asked with a smile, Hanchuan, do you have a job recently? Fu Hanchuan's father took the opportunity to fold his arms and say to Grandpa Fu, what kind of job could he have? He spends all day either at home or wandering around outside. If it weren't for his title as young master, he'd be begging on the streets. Hearing this, Grandpa Lu was instantly furious. Shut up. Then, Grandpa Lu turned to Fu Hanchuan and said, if you don't have a job yet, come to our company. I'll make you a director. Hearing Grandpa Lu say this, one of his sons immediately showed a look of displeasure and worry. Seeing his father say this, Fu Hongyi couldn't help but speak up and protest. Dad, instead of giving the director position to him, why not give it to Mengshu? His stepmother, sitting next to him, immediately took his hand and soothed him. Hongyi, don't say anything. Hearing Hongyi say this, Grandpa Lu was instantly angry. You're biased towards Mengshu. Isn't Hanchuan your son too? I'm warning you. Fu Hongyi, don't be biased. Fu Hanchuan then spoke, I won't go. Grandpa Lu turned around, his tone filled with regret. Hanchuan, as long as you agree, I'll agree to any conditions. Right now, only you can help the company. I absolutely can't let you leave the Fu family. Grandpa Fu thought to himself. Hearing his grandfather say this, Fu Hanchuan sneered. What if I want all of your shares of the Fu family? Hearing this, a calculating look appeared on Grandpa Fu's face. I just want Fu Hanchuan to come to the company to help, to use his abilities. I don't want to give him any shares at all. Grandpa Fu's true colors were completely exposed. Fu Hanchuan seemed to have seen through his grandfather's character long ago and continued, you want me to help the Fu Corporation, and this is the only condition. Grandpa, you want my help, but you're not willing to give anything in return. This isn't how you treat people. Fu Hanchuan's words were barbed, and Grandpa Fu, as if struck in a sore spot, instantly turned pale. Fu Hanchuan, you're a member of the Fu family. You have an obligation to help the company. You don't have the right to refuse. Fu Hanchuan immediately stood up. When has the Fu family ever treated me like family? He then said coldly, you are the real family. I'm just an outsider who shares the same blood. Hearing him say this, Everyone felt uncomfortable, but no one dared to speak. No one in the room knew how to respond, so they could only grit their teeth in silence, suppressing their anger. Fu Hanchuan didn't want to stay any longer. I don't want to disturb everyone's meal. Goodbye. Grandpa Fu angrily stood up and shouted, Fu Hanchuan, if you dare to step out of the Fu family's door today, don't ever come back. Fu Hanchuan only left one sentence. Suits me fine. After saying that, he left directly. Seeing his response, Grandpa Fu was so angry that he plopped back down. You. Everyone hurried forward to support him. Grandpa, don't be angry. Take your medicine. Fu Mingxiu handed him his medicine. He also put on a worried and sad expression. When he understands your good intentions, he will definitely come to the company to help you. Grandpa Fu immediately said, Mingxiu, if your cousin were half as sensible as you, I wouldn't have to worry. He then knelt down and continued to flatter. Brother has encountered many difficulties outside. He will understand the importance of having the Fu family as his backing. If it weren't for the Fu family, would he be living so well? A sinister smile immediately appeared on his face. I want him to know that no one can help him except the Fu family. He then turned to Fu Mingxiu and said, use the company's official website to announce that the Fu family will no longer handle any matters related to Fu Hanchuan. Fu Mingxiu immediately replied, Grandpa, isn't that a bad idea? Do as I say. His tone was firm. Fu Mingxiu immediately responded respectfully, yes. But in his heart, he was overjoyed, secretly laughing to himself. He then called someone to post on Weibo, informing everyone that Fu Hanchuan had severed ties with the Fu family. Would severing ties really make Fu Hanchuan's life difficult? He immediately thought smugly, as long as the news that the Fu family is no longer responsible for Fu Hanchuan gets out, his life will be no different from before. He sneered, I want everyone to know that I am the only young master of the Fu family, and the only heir to the Fu corporation is me. He then laughed arrogantly. Fu Hanchuan, I will always keep you under my foot. The scene shifts to Xian Shang's classroom. The teacher stands at the podium and announces, Parent-Teacher Conference tomorrow. Make sure to remind your parents to be on time. The bell rings and the class erupts. Ugh, another parent-teacher conference. It's a student's worst nightmare. A classmate complains. Lin Fong rests his chin in his hand, a dejected look on his face. I'm doomed. My dad's going to beat me again. He runs over to Xian Shang's desk. Shengji, do your parents know you're first in the class? They must be thrilled to go to the parent-teacher conference, right? Right. They must be really looking forward to it, right? Xian Shang replies with a blank expression. They're not coming. That afternoon, Xian Shang and Qin Chu Rou return home. Suddenly, a voice rings out. Chu Rou. Lin Shuya practically skips towards Qin Chu Rou, waving two extravagant outfits. I'm going to your parent-teacher conference tomorrow, sweetie. Your teachers are going to sing your praises. Help me pick an outfit. Qin Chu Rou, flustered by the topic of grades, stammers, they both look great. Then she changes the subject. Mom, you're going to my parent-teacher conference, so Dad's going to Shengji's, right? As soon as Lin Shuya hears Xian Shang's name, her face darkens. With her grades, there's nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Shanghai, reading the newspaper, chimes in, Honey, I'm too busy with work. I can't make it to the parent-teacher conference this time. He says to Xian Shang, your mother's going to Chireo's class. Don't cause any trouble there by yourself. Xian Shang, reaching the staircase, overhears this and says coldly, it seems Qin Chu Rou is your only daughter. Lin Shi's temper flares. Xian Shang, can't you be more understanding? Chu Rou is your sister. Can't you give her a break? You're back in the Qin family now. Why do you have to compete with her about everything? Xian Shang turns and looks directly at her. Then just pretend I'm not your daughter. Kick me out of the Qin family. That way, I'll never have the chance to compete with Qin Chu Rou for anything again. All three are stunned. Xian Shang leaves them with just one sentence. I'm going back to my room. The scene changes to the evening. The parent-teacher conference begins. All the students are in the hallway, chatting and gossiping about the parent-teacher conference. Xian Shang is happily chatting with her best friend. Qin Chu Rou glares at Xian Shang from a distance. A few students from class 1 start taunting Xian Shang. Xian Shang, I heard all three of your parents are too busy to come. Everyone knows Xian Shang is a gold digger. Her parents are afraid of losing their cash cow. That's why they didn't dare to come, right? Another student chimes in, no, it's not that. Her family is from the countryside. They're probably too poor to come. Someone else joins the mockery. So pathetic. Almost all the parents are here, but no one cares about Xian Shang. Hearing them talking behind Xi and Shang's back, her best friend rolls up her sleeves in anger. What did you say? Seeing her best friend about to lose her temper, Xi and Shang quickly intervenes. Did you all fail your exams? Do you wish you were like me, with no one showing up for the parent-teacher conference? Too bad you don't have that opportunity. The other students are speechless, glaring at Xi. She continues, then tell me, what character traits am I lacking? Every time you see me, you just gossip behind my back. Isn't that a problem with your character? Unable to respond, they slink away to Qin Chu Rou's side. I Chu Rou. Qin Chu Rou quickly steps in to smooth things over. All right, stop it, okay. Then she puts on a concerned facade. Xi and Shang, don't blame them. They're just worried you'll be tricked by some rich kid. The words rich kid set Xi and Shang off. Rich kid, are you kidding me? Qin Chu Rou's face also hardens. Xi and Shang points directly at Qin Chu Rou and retorts, you people keep talking about rich kids. Have you forgotten the principal's warning? Spreading rumors without evidence is grounds for expulsion. Xi and Shang adds, I suggest you watch your mouths, or you won't even know why you get expelled one day. The students, faces pale with fear, immediately shut up. Suddenly, excited murmurs ripple through the hallway. Wow, he's so handsome. Fu Hanchuan has entered the hallway, and the girls are aflutter. Xi and Shang's best friend nudges her. Shang, look, he's the most handsome guy I've ever seen. Seeing Fu Hanchuan approaching, Xi and Shang wonders, why is he here? Fu Hanchuan becomes the center of attention. The girls whisper, so handsome, so handsome. The murmurs continue. He must be here for the parent-teacher conference, right? Does he have a younger sibling at our school? If he were my boyfriend, I'd be smiling in my sleep. Fu Hanchuan walks closer and closer, heading towards Qin Chu Rou. Her best friend grabs Qin Chu Rou's hand excitedly. Chu Rou, you and him are a match made in heaven. You're the only one worthy of him. Her best friend whispered, Chu Rou, do you think he's looking for you? Qin Chu Rou blushed instantly, her heart pounding. Could he really be looking for me? She shyly hid herself. Fu Hanchuan stopped in front of her. Excuse me, he said. Seeing him stop, Qin Chu Rou's best friend also blushed, excitedly saying, Chu Rou, he's talking to you. Qin Chu Rou blushed too, a small smile gracing her lips. Qin Chu Rou shyly stepped forward. Are you here? She started to ask. The students in the classroom craned their necks to see what was happening outside. The girls whispered among themselves. Is that guy looking for Qin Chu Rou? He must be. I'm so envious. They're probably a couple. Another side, Qin Chu Rou is so lucky. Beautiful, smart, rich, and a handsome, wealthy boyfriend. But the scene took a turn. It was all wishful thinking on her part. Fu Hanchuan walked right past Qin Chu Rou. You're blocking the way, he said, then walked straight towards Xi and Shang. Shang, he called out, leaving Qin Chu Rou speechless and utterly deflated. Xi and Shang's eyes lit up as she saw Fu Hanchuan approaching. Fu Gij, why are you here? Fu Hanchuan ruffled her hair. To attend Shang's parent-teacher meeting, of course. Fu Hanchuan leaned closer and whispered, did you eat candy, Shang? He could smell the sweet scent of candy on her. He always thought she had a sweet, milky fragrance. Hearing his question, Xi and Shang immediately pulled out 2 candies from her pocket. Fu Gij, do you want some? Fu Hanchuan looked at the 2 candies in Xi and Shang's hand and smiled gently. Shang was malnourished as a child due to lack of care, and her blood sugar was low, so she developed the habit of eating candy, he thought. He immediately took the 2 candies from her hand. Thank you, Shang, he said. Watching Fu Hanchuan happily eat the candy, Xi and Shang's resolve to make the Fu family pay strengthened. Shang, I'll wait for you in your classroom. Okay, Fu Hanchuan said. She softly replied, okay. Fu Hanchuan entered the classroom. The homeroom teacher saw him and asked, whose parent are you? He answered without hesitation, Xi and Shang's older brother. Outside the classroom, Xi and Shang's best friend shook her excitedly. Shang, this is amazing. You really have such a handsome older brother. The other students outside were also buzzing. Oh my God, he's so handsome. Is he really her brother? Inside, Fu Hanchuan heard the whispers, but paid them no mind. Everyone was saying that with a brother like that, Xi and Shang must be from a wealthy family and didn't need to be taken care of by some old man. It seemed the rumors were false. Xi and Shang rested her chin in her hand, thinking calling him older brother isn't wrong. given our current relationship. Inside the classroom, the homeroom teacher was handing out the recent exam papers. The exam was difficult, but everyone's scores were higher than last time, especially Qin Sheng's. She got a perfect score and ranked first in the entire grade. Fu Hanchuan happily accepted Qin Sheng's report card, thinking, my little girl is truly outstanding. A parent in the front row turned around and asked him, are you Qin Sheng's older brother? Could you share how she studies at home? Fu Hanchuan pretended to boast talent and hard work. As soon as she gets home, she shuts herself in her study. He continued to brag, looking up at the ceiling, leaving the surrounding parents speechless. Outside, Qin Sheng was also rendered speechless by his words. I study at home. Fu Gij, do you have some misunderstanding about me? The scene shifted to Class 1, where the parents were chattering. Lin Xia walked in. Oh, Chu Rao's mother is here. Mrs. Qin, your daughter is so amazing, always in the top 10 of the grade. Lin Xia walked into the classroom confidently. The other parents immediately surrounded her. Yes, if it were me, I definitely couldn't raise such an excellent child. Beautiful and smart. Mrs. Qin, do you always supervise her studies at home? Lin Xia smiled smugly. It's all Chu Rao's own hard work. I just guide her a little. Then, she suddenly changed her tone. Good grades depend not only on hard work, but also on talent. No matter how hard you work, it's useless without talent. The other parents were displeased. Isn't she implying our daughters are stupid? That no matter how hard they try, they can't compare to hers. Our daughters aren't bad either. The parents dispersed, grumbling to themselves. She's always been in the top 10. What's there to be so smug about this time? We'll see. After the parents dispersed, the homeroom teacher walked in. Time's up. Why are you all still standing? Please return to your seats, she reminded. Everyone quietly sat down, except for Lin Xia, who walked up to the teacher. Teacher Liang, I'd like to ask how my Chu Rou did on the exam. This time, when Lin Xia asked, Teacher Liang's face darkened. You dare ask. She dropped from 3rd to 11th place. Do you think that's good? The college entrance exam is important. Parents should supervise their children's studies more and not push everything onto me. Okay, having said that, Teacher Liang turned around and reminded everyone, all right, please return to your seats. The parent-teacher meeting is about to begin. Don't waste other parents' time. Seeing Teacher Liang's attitude, Lin Xia was startled, thinking she had lost face in public. Lin Xia hurried back to her seat. The surrounding parents whispered, someone's daughter only got 11th place, and she's still so arrogant. If my son got 4th place, wouldn't I be even more entitled to look down on others? Another parent chimed in, exactly. Some people always think their daughters are the best. They don't even look at themselves. How dare they look down on others? Humiliated, Lin Xia sat down, her face livid, cursing inwardly. Damn it, Chu Rou didn't even tell me beforehand that she dropped out of the top 10, making me lose so much face. After the parent-teacher meeting, Lin Xia scolded Qin Chu Rou loudly in the corridor. Chu Rou, what happened this time? How did you only get 11th place? Facing her mother's accusations, she only dared to softly explain, Mom, you know I had a cold during those exam days. I was dizzy. She choked up, I'm sorry, Mom. No matter the reason, I didn't do well this time. Seeing Qin Chu Rou cry, Lin Xia's heart softened. She stepped forward and hugged her. It's okay. You didn't do well this time. Just work hard next time. She promised, I'll definitely do well next time. Hearing this, Lin Xia's spirits lifted. Good girl, Mom believes in you. You are better than Qin Sheng no matter what. You have always been better than Qin Sheng. At this moment, 2 parents from Class 4 passed by, discussing. The first place this time wasn't Tao Yao, but Qin Sheng from Class 4. It's unbelievable. Lin Xia and Qin Chu Rou both heard it. The words of the 2 parents as they passed by made them panic. They both thought, oh no, Mom will find out she's first. Lin Xia, having heard the 2 parents, angrily grabbed Qin Chu Rou's hand and asked, Rou, is Qin Sheng really first place? Qin Chu Rou hesitantly replied, After receiving Qin Chu Rou's confirmation, Lin Xia couldn't believe it. How could this be? Seeing this, Qin Chu Rou quickly made up an excuse. That day during the exam, I was in the same exam room as my sister. She kept her head down and acted a bit strangely. I was worried something was wrong with her, so I didn't dare tell the teacher. Hearing Qin Chu Rou say this, Lin Xia immediately wanted to check the surveillance cameras. Rou, your classroom has surveillance cameras, right? Let's go report her. Seeing her mother like this, Qin Chu Rou felt her heart sink, thinking, no, I can't let Mom know I'm lying. To cover up her lie, she hugged Lin Shuya's arm. Mom, don't. If she's caught cheating, it will affect the Qin family's reputation. Lin Shuya thought it made sense and affectionately flicked Qin Chu Rou's forehead. Rao, I know you're just Qin Ing, your sister. Having successfully deceived Lin Shuya, she linked arms with her. Lin Shuya admonished Qin Chu Rou, but don't be so silly and soft-hearted in the future. If your sister cheats again, you must tell the teacher, understand. Qin Chu Rou happily agreed. Understood, Mom. Let's go home. At the school gate, Fu Hanchuan was opening the car door, preparing to take Xan Shang home. Lin Shuya and Qin Chu Rou followed closely behind. She stood there with her arms crossed, scolding Xan Shang, absolutely outrageous. So unruly. How dare you start dating at such a young age? You've clearly been corrupted by the big city. Xan Shang felt very uncomfortable hearing this. She turned coldly and said to Fu Hanchuan, Brother Fu, let's go. Fu Hanchuan, hearing Xan Shang's words, stepped on the gas, the stirred-up dust landing on the mother and daughter's faces. Lin Shuya angrily cursed. How could I have given birth to such a daughter? She pretends not to see me. Then she turned and patted Qin Chu Rou's head. Rao, having you is enough. Qin Chu Rou, feeling her mother's love, blushed and smiled, thinking in Mom's eyes, Xan Shang will never be as good as me. The scene cuts to the Qin family's doorstep. Fu Hanchuan handed Xan Shang a bag. Shang, have some more candy. Xan Shang gratefully said, thank you, Brother Fu. She took out a piece of candy, unwrapped it, and put it in her mouth. So sweet. Seeing her like this, Fu Hanchuan's mood also improved. He leaned down and gently stroked Xan Shang's hair. I'm glad you like it. Receiving Fu Hanchuan's care, Xan Shang's face flushed red. The scene changes to the next morning at school. In Class 4's classroom, Liang Huadan was teaching Xan Shang's class. She angrily slammed her notebook on the desk. Where's Xan Shang? Arriving late and leaving early. What kind of behavior is this? Not acting like a student at all. The whole class listened to her scolding, the atmosphere tense. Suddenly, a voice came from the doorway, reporting. She looked toward the door and saw Xan Shang walk in. She immediately scolded, Xan Shang, you're 5 minutes late. Liang Huadan continued to criticize. Don't think that getting first place this time means you can always stay on top. With this attitude of yours, you won't be so lucky next time. Faced with her scolding, the classroom fell silent. Liang Hua grew angrier, thinking, don't you want to stay in my class? Fine, go stand outside. She probably thought Xan Shang would beg to stay. But unexpectedly, Xan Shang turned and left without a word. Liang Hua was even more furious. Seeing Xan Shang leave, Linny also said, then I'll go out too. He thought, she was late, I was late too. If she has to stand outside, I'm not staying in the classroom. Liang Hua pointed at him and yelled, if you want to go out with her, then get out. At this moment, Xan Shang's best friend also stood up and said, Teacher, I was late too. Then the whole class suddenly raised their hands. Me too, me too. Suddenly someone shouted, Teacher, you were late too. Seeing the class's attitude, Liang Hua trembled with anger. You, Class 4, this is a rebellion. You're all disobeying me, isn't it? Liang Hua continued to roar, fine, very good. With a bunch of brats like you, who else besides me would be willing to teach you? She completely broke down and stormed out of the classroom. Don't come begging me to teach you later. Xan Shang stood outside and watched her leave furiously, feeling a surge of joy. Great, that witch is finally gone. The scene shifted to the Liu family home. Lu Ming and Fu Hanchuan were sitting on the sofa, chatting. Tell me, he said as he tossed a set of keys to Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught the keys, ecstatic. Audi A8 keys, score. Looks like his wife is very important to him. So he began, you know Xan Shang's English teacher. Lu Ming continued. Later, Xan Shang was punished for being late and had to stand outside. The whole class followed her out and stood with her, which angered Liang Hua so much that she went to the principal to complain, saying she wouldn't teach Class 4 English anymore. Now, the principal has a headache because Class 4 is the most difficult class to manage, and no teacher is willing to take over. Hearing this, Fu Hanchuan stroked his chin thoughtfully, then suddenly stood up and snatched the keys back. Lu Ming was stunned. Fu Hanchuan said to him, Lu Ming, why didn't you tell me about Xi Shang being falsely accused of cheating? I haven't settled this with you yet. He then took out his phone and called his assistant Lin. Look into a high school teacher in H City named Liang Hua. I want her complete profile. In the background, Lu Ming was still wailing my car. Fu Hanchuan ignored him completely. Also, arrange for me to teach English to Class 4 of the senior year at H City High School. A large notice on the school bulletin board read, Teacher Liang Hua has resigned. Class 4 of the senior year will have a new teacher tomorrow. Everyone was excitedly discussing, wow, Class 4 is getting a new English teacher. Whispers filled the hallway. I heard the new teacher graduated from D University. So envious. In contrast to everyone's curiosity, Liang Hua just folded her arms and sneered. They found a replacement so quickly. Who would dare take over such a terrible class? She walked towards the office, and laughter from her colleagues drifted out. Haha, that's hilarious. Liang Hua thought, no one will dare take over Class 4's English lessons. Inside, two teachers were chatting. I can't believe a D University graduate would take this class. Liang Hua must be upset. The other agreed. Yeah, Liang Hua thinks she's so great. If it weren't for her connections, she would have been replaced long ago. Hearing this, Liang Hua stormed in, yelling, Li Wan, Li Qinxiu, you two-faced hypocrites, shameless. The two teachers were startled and stood up. Fine, I'll just say it. I've never liked you. If you want to use your connections to get your position back, go ahead and try. The other teacher chimed in, Liang Hua, when Li and I aren't afraid of anything. If you want to fight, bring it on. Liang Hua pointed at them furiously. Just you wait. I'll have Cui Shen deal with you. Hearing Cui Shen, the two teachers froze. The Cui Shen you're talking about, is he the Cui Shen who's the director of the Academic Affairs Office? Cui Shen. Liang Hua suddenly realized she'd let something slip and quickly covered her mouth. No. The female teacher immediately retorted, judging by your reaction, it definitely is him. Director Cui is married, and you still want to get involved with him. The male teacher added, Liang Hua, if you dare to have Cui Shen make things difficult for us, we'll tell his wife immediately. Then both you and Cui Shen will be packing your bags. Hearing this, Liang Hua's face turned pale. Just then, someone entered and interrupted. What's going on? The two teachers immediately turned to Teacher Lin. Teacher Lin, we were wrong before. We won't laugh at you anymore. Yes, Teacher Lin, we were blinded before. We shouldn't have sucked up to an incompetent teacher. Hearing this, Liang Hua gritted her teeth. It's all Xi Shang's fault. The bell rang, signaling the end of class. A young man walked along the corridor towards Class 4. Whispers filled the classroom. They'd heard the new English teacher was a graduate of Daidi University. The man just smiled slightly as he reached the classroom door. Here I am. As expected, Fu Hanchuan was Class 4's new English teacher. He walked into the classroom, placed his materials on the podium, and introduced himself. My surname is Fu. You can call me Mr. Fu. The whole class looked at their new teacher excitedly. Wow, he's so handsome. Oh my God, am I dreaming? Isn't he a celebrity? Fu Hanchuan continued. The English class representative for this semester is Xi Sheng, the student with the highest grades. Xi Sheng cried out in surprise from her seat. Brother Fu, he really came. Xi Sheng's best friend, sitting next to her, nudged her. He definitely came here for you. Your brother really spoils you. I want a brother like that too. Xi Sheng blushed, thinking to herself, is it really for me? Fu Hanchuan began distributing materials to the class, announcing there would be a small quiz that day to assess everyone's abilities. He passed Qin Chu Rou's desk, his gaze sweeping over her indifferently, making her flustered and unable to meet his eyes. As he approached, he leaned down slightly and whispered, come to my office after class. Xi Sheng shyly replied in a low voice, okay. In Fu Hanchuan's office, Shang, he asked gently, would you like some tea? Xi Sheng asked in surprise, Brother Fu, why are you teaching here? I remember in the previous life, you didn't teach English at this high school. Fu Hanchuan smiled and leaned down, replying gently, because of you. Xi Sheng's cheeks flushed, her eyes sparkling. She asked again, because of me. He whispered, I don't want you to be bullied at school anymore. As he spoke, he affectionately stroked her head. Xi Sheng smiled, thank you, Brother Fu. No matter what others do, Brother Fu and Lu Ming are truly good to me. Fu Hanchuan smiled. What are you thanking me for? Remember, you still have me. If anyone bullies you, you don't have to endure it alone. Xi Sheng happily agreed. All right. Is the list for the National League out yet? Fu Hanchuan asked Xian Shang. She replied, it should be out tonight. That evening, at the Qin family home, the family of three was happily eating dinner. Lin Shuya served Qin Chu Rou some food and said gently, Chu Rou, you'll be admitted to Qinghui tonight. Mom congratulates you in advance. Qin Chu Rou replied happily, Mom, the results aren't out yet. Lin Shuya continued, you're Qi Wenshi student. If you can't get in, who else in H City can? Qin Hai also chimed in, Chu Rou, if you win a big prize this time, Dad will give you a big reward. Qin Chu Rou happily agreed. Okay. Suddenly the phone rang. Qin Chu Rou answered the call. Hello. Lin Shuya anxiously whispered beside her. How is it? Are you first place? After the call, her face instantly turned pale. She was shocked to learn that first place was actually Shang. Who is this Shang? The sky was exceptionally blue that day. Qin Chu Rou turned to her mother, tears streaming down her face. I didn't pass the youth art competition, Mom. I'm sorry. I really didn't expect this. Mom, Dad, I've let you down. Lin Shuya hugged her daughter with heartache. Honey, it's just a competition. It's okay if you didn't get in. Don't cry. It's not like we absolutely need it. Qin Hai sat beside them, tiredly rubbing his eyes. I told all my friends that you would definitely win an award. Now you haven't even qualified. It's so embarrassing. Suddenly, Qin Chu Rou's phone rang again. The screen displayed Teacher Chi's name. She nervously answered the phone. A stern voice came from the other end. Didn't you modify the painting as I told you? How did you still get eliminated? She fought back tears and explained, I don't know either. Do you know someone named Lu Zhonghua? She took first place. Is she really that good? Teacher Chi asked back, are you suspecting she used some underhanded methods? Chu Rou, come with me to the art association tomorrow. I want to get to the bottom of this. The next day, at the art association, Qi Wenshi and Qin Chu Rou walked into the art association with heavy hearts. A man named Wu Qian came out to greet them. Director Qi, what brings you here today? Qi Wenshi replied, a newcomer passed the city competition this time. I don't see anything special about her paintings. Why does President Wu admire her so much? Wu Qian understood and changed the subject. Is Director Qi here to seek justice for his student? Qi Wenshi said directly, that's right. I believe my student's skill level is definitely better than others. After hearing this, Wu Qian replied, all right, if your student is really that good, I'll give her the spot. Qin Chu Rou immediately handed over her iPad. Please take a look at my work. Wu Qian carefully examined the painting. This painting does express the pain of a mother losing her child, but focuses too much on technique. The lines are stiff, lacking spirit. The pain only stays on the surface, and the eyes don't convey emotion. Hearing the evaluation, Qin Chu Rou bowed deeply. Qi Wenshi thought to himself, I'm a master, and you're criticizing my student's painting in front of me. Couldn't you give me some face? Wu Qian returned the painting to Qin Chu Rou. Compared to her peers, it was quite good, but it still wasn't outstanding enough for the youth art competition. He crossed his arms, thinking, I'll see what the painting of that girl, who's supposedly better than my student, looks like. He was unconvinced. How could some unknown surpass a student he personally taught? Wu Qian excitedly handed the painting to him. This is her work. Qi Wenshi looked at the painting, frowning slightly. Wu Qian asked, is this painting better than your student's? Even so, he stubbornly insisted, this painting, even I have to admire. It's enough to shock the art world. But she's just a high school senior. How could she have such experience? It must be ghost-written. If it's discovered, it will greatly damage the art association's reputation. I suggest disqualifying her and publicly announcing her cheating. President Wu listened seriously. Teacher Qi, everything needs evidence. Qi Wenshi still refused to give up. It seems you're determined to protect her, Wu Qian. Don't regret this. Suddenly, a voice came from outside. Who's protecting whom? The voice came from afar. It was old Lu. Leaning on his cane, he slowly walked into the room. President Wu respectfully stood and bowed. Hello, old Lu. Qi Wenshi also immediately stood. Mr. Lu, Shang's painting, it simply doesn't look like something someone her age could paint. No need to check for evidence. I'm certain she used someone else's work. Old Lu ignored him, approaching the painting and examining it carefully. He softly said, good, very good. This painting is one of the best works I've ever seen. Even old Lu was amazed. The emotions expressed in the painting were vividly portrayed, the pain and regret deeply moving. Shang truly was a genius. Qin Sheng still argued. She's so young. How could she paint at this level? But old Lu retorted, just because you can't paint doesn't mean others can't either. Qin Sheng felt completely refuted and was furious, thinking, didn't you always hate cheating? Turns out you're the same. Qin Chu Rou muttered softly, isn't he covering for her? Hearing this, old Lu's face darkened. He turned to everyone. Do you think you're qualified to interfere in my affairs? Lu Zhonghua's student doesn't need to cheat. My reputation is what I value most. If there really is a problem, I'm willing to retire from the art world. Old Lu's words left President Wu, Qin Sheng, and Qin Chu Rou stunned. Old Lu had never taken a student before. Why make an exception this time? President Wu smiled, smoothing things over. Old Lu's reputation is more trustworthy than anyone's. Of course I trust him. He then turned to Qin Sheng, his tone gentle yet firm. Teacher Qi, this small temple cannot accommodate a great Buddha. Please feel free to leave. Qin Sheng, furious, turned and left, feeling utterly humiliated. Qin Chu Rou didn't follow him. Instead, she turned back to President Wu and apologized. Could you tell me her real name? I just want to know, so I can learn from her. She wore a smile, but inside she was fuming, suspecting it was someone she knew. It couldn't be such a coincidence, could it? President Wu's expression was serious. I am her teacher, yet you want to learn from someone else. Isn't this looking down on your teacher? Just now, Teacher Qi even wanted to falsely accuse her of cheating. I cannot reveal her name. Qin Sheng turned back angrily. Qin Chu Rou felt Bu Fu cheat and couldn't help but speak up. Teacher, but that's old Lu. Old Lu sat down and said to Qin Sheng, you're just jealous because you can't paint well. You're also petty when choosing students. Like teacher, like student. Qin Sheng left without a word. Qin Chu Rou called out teacher outside. Qin Sheng snapped, what did you mean just now? Were you mocking me? Do you think Lu Zhonghua is better than me and want to become his student? She quickly explained, I was just curious who she is. I just feel like it's someone I know. Teacher, I don't look down on you. He continued, you don't work hard enough and you're not serious about learning. Teaching you is a waste of my time. Hearing this, Qin Chu Rou was furious. I have talent. If you were as good as him, how could I lose? A sound came from the distance. Old Lu and President Wu walked over, their demeanor composed. Old Lu's global limited edition luxury car was worth 50 million, while Qin Sheng's was only a few million. How could he compare to Lu Zhonghua? He was a famous and wealthy figure in the art world. Qin Chu Rou smiled faintly, thinking if I could become a student, I would definitely be better than Xine Shang. At this moment, a black car was parked quietly in front of the Qin family home. Xine Shang and Fu Hanquan were sitting in the car. Fu Hanquan said, Shang, congratulations on making it to the next round of the painting competition. She softly thanked him while fastening her seatbelt. Fu Hanquan leaned over to help Xine Shang fasten her seatbelt. The two were very close, making her cheeks flush slightly. She felt the atmosphere was too intense. Suddenly, Fu Hanquan's lips lightly brushed against her cheek. He casually turned his head, feigning indifference, and looked at Xine Shang questioningly. After fastening her seatbelt, he returned to his seat, leaving Xine Shang flustered. She turned her head, cheeks flushed, thinking, am I okay? Fu Hanquan then started the car, and Xine Shang turned to him curiously. Brother Fu, where are we going? He replied with a smile, to the amusement park. He's continuing to take you there to celebrate. The scene changes to the amusement park. The two sat happily on the roller coaster, Xine Shang closing her eyes, enjoying this relaxing moment. Afterward, they tried other rides, then the giant swing, and then bungee jumping. Xine Shang completely relaxed, just like that. They kept switching between different rides, freely enjoying their happy time. After playing all the rides in the amusement park, Xine Shang and Fu Hanquan strolled together. She happily hopped and skipped while he watched her with a smile, thinking, she's really different. She's not afraid, but relaxed, enjoying herself to the fullest. Fu Hanquan turned to Xine Shang and gently stroked her hair, thinking, my little girl is indeed special. He softly asked, want to play more? Fu Hanquan looked down at her and smiled. Then let's play one last game, okay? The last game he was referring to was the haunted house. As they walked in together, they saw a couple trembling. The girl clung tightly to the boy, tears in her eyes. I don't want to play anymore. I'm so scared. The boy comforted her. I'm here, don't be afraid. Seeing this scene, Fu Hanchuan gave Qin Sheng a meaningful look, thinking, this time she will definitely be scared and cling to me. Thinking this, he took Qin Sheng's hand and gently squeezed it. Qin Sheng turned to look at him. She looked at him with confusion. Brother Fu, what do you think? It's very dark in here. Hold my hand so you won't get lost, he replied. Okay, Qin Sheng responded, and the two carefully stepped into the dark entrance of the haunted house. Along the way, they saw many couples, and the surroundings were decorated with eerie dolls, but both of them remained calm. Suddenly, a ghost jumped out. The couple in front of them was immediately frightened and hugged each other tightly. A smug look appeared on Fu Hanchuan's face, thinking, this time she will definitely jump into my arms. He fantasized about Qin Sheng weakly clinging to him. Brother Fu, I'm so scared. He would gently comfort her. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. But the reality was quite different. Even with the ghost screaming beside her, Qin Sheng remained calm and unafraid. Seeing that things weren't going as expected, Fu Hanchuan awkwardly asked, aren't you scared? Qin Sheng turned her head, her expression indifferent. It's just people in makeup and lighting effects. What's there to be afraid of? Her words left everyone in the haunted house, including the staff, speechless. The staff member thought to themselves, better not provoke this kind of person, better hide in the box to be safe. Fu Hanchuan felt a little helpless at this moment, thinking about when Sheng would understand his feelings. After the haunted house, Fu Hanchuan and Sheng strolled along a quiet path. He gently turned his head and solicitously asked if she was hungry. She nodded slightly, saying she was just a little hungry. He smiled and said, then I'll take you to eat something delicious. After dinner, Fu Hanchuan turned to Qin Sheng and asked, did you enjoy the food? She smiled and replied, yes, thank you, Brother Fu. At this moment, Qin Chu Rou's classmate unexpectedly saw them strolling together across the street and exclaimed, isn't that Qin Sheng? Fu Hanchuan is her brother. Could it just be a sibling relationship? The classmate was full of suspicion. These two are coming in and out of hotels together. Unless they're really siblings, I won't believe they're innocent. The unwilling classmate immediately took out their phone and secretly took pictures of the two, feeling secretly jealous. How could someone like Qin Sheng, who comes from the countryside, easily meet such an outstanding man and ride in such a luxurious car? After taking the pictures, the classmate immediately sent a message. I can't deal with her, but Qin Chu Rou definitely can, right? The message was sent to Qin Chu Rou with a picture of Qin Sheng and Fu Hanchuan eating together attached. I just saw her come out of the hotel with your brother. If I didn't know they were siblings, I would have thought they were a couple. If they weren't siblings, they'd actually be quite a match. The classmate's face darkened. The naive Qin Chu Rou would definitely cause a scene with Qin Sheng. Fu Hanchuan's car stopped slowly in front of the Qin family's gate, creating a warm, yet subtly tense atmosphere. Qin Sheng, this is for you. Consider it a reward for winning the H-City painting competition. Fu Hanchuan said, handing her a gift bag. Qin Sheng opened the gift bag and found a special notebook inside. Sheng, this notebook contains a summary of my studies over the past 12 months. It might be helpful for your college entrance exams. Fu Hanchuan continued. Qin Sheng was surprised and touched, thinking that only brother Fu cared so much about her. She turned to Fu Hanchuan, her emotions overflowing. Brother Fu, thank you. Fu Hanchuan gently patted her head and smiled. I just want to help you. Upstairs, Qin Chu Rou witnessed the entire scene, her heart filled with anger and unspoken grievance. Qin Sheng, why did you come back? Why are you always against me? Why do you always take away the things I like? Qin Chu Rou thought painfully. She slammed her hand on the windowsill in frustration, muttering to herself, what's so good about Qin Sheng? Fu Hanchuan even became an ordinary English teacher for her. Qin Chu Rou gently stroked Fu Hanchuan's photo, her heart filled with hesitation and conflict. But as long as Teacher Liu is willing to help me, as long as I become better, I can attract his attention. She closed her eyes in pain. As long as he looks at me, I will make him stay with me forever. The next day, in the teacher's office, Liang Hua pushed the door open and walked in. As soon as she entered, the other teachers immediately started mocking her. Oh, the princess is late again and always leaves early. Who in this school can compare to her glory? Hearing these words, Liang Hua was furious. Don't go too far. The other teachers sneered. Liang Hua, who are you threatening? You think we still hold you up high like before? Now it's your turn to beg us. Another teacher added, your relationship with the head teacher is probably nothing to hide anymore, is it? Seeing that arguing was futile, Liang Hua apologized. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I shouldn't have spoken harshly to you. The other teachers finally smiled in satisfaction. Isn't this much better? Liang Hua returned to her seat, still full of resentment. Not long after, Lu Ming walked in. Seeing him, Liang Hua immediately changed her attitude and became enthusiastic. Lu Ming, is there something you need from the teacher? Lu Ming said frankly, I want to transfer classes. Hearing this, the teachers were all curious. Liang Hua was confused and somewhat angry, but helpless. Liang Hua couldn't sit still any longer. Angrily, she said, Lu Ming, this school isn't your home. You can't just transfer classes whenever you want. Lu Ming sneered, walked closer to her, and lowered his voice. Teacher Liang, about you and the head teacher, I'd advise you to stop pretending. She was startled, wondering how anyone could know. The other teachers excitedly asked, which class does Lu Ming want to transfer to? How about class 3? With that, Lu Ming immediately left the office. Seeing Liang Hua's dejected look, the other teachers started mocking her. What's wrong, Teacher Liang? Surprised. Who would have thought a student from class 1 would transfer directly to class 4 right before the college entrance exams? Filled with frustration and annoyance, Liang Hua retorted, I'm going to class. Fu Hanchuan smiled and said, well, I haven't seen you in class 4 before. It's class time now. Hurry back to your class. Hearing Fu Hanchuan's words, Lu Ming suddenly felt a little sad, wondering if he was still his dear brother. Then he held up the books and notebook in his hands to Fu Hanchuan and said, Brother, I've transferred to class 4. From now on, I'll be in the same class as Xi Shang. Hearing this, Fu Hanchuan's face suddenly darkened. Lu Ming froze, thinking, why do I suddenly feel a murderous aura? Fu Hanchuan suddenly felt a little tired. He sighed, thinking Xi Shang is such an excellent girl, there will definitely be many people pursuing her. I have to be careful. Ignoring his brother's mood, Lu Ming took a step closer and patted him lightly on the shoulder. I transferred to class 4 to take better care of my future sister-in-law. I won't let her get hurt. But instead of thanking him, Fu Hanchuan warned, stay away from her. Fu Hanchuan said directly to Lu Ming, I'll tell Grandpa, you won't get any allowance for the next 2 months. And we have no relationship at school. After saying what he needed to say, he turned and walked into the classroom, muttering, I came to school to protect Sheng Sheng. I don't want anyone to get in the way. Seeing Fu Hanchuan's reaction, Lu Ming realized he was jealous. He didn't expect his brother to forget even his own brother for love. He thought he was going to become a monk. Scene change after school in the afternoon. Fu Hanchuan walked over to Xi Shang's desk. Her desk mate immediately shouted, Sheng Sheng, your brother is here to pick you up. Xi Shang stood up and asked with a gentle smile, Brother Fu, is something the matter? Fu Hanchuan replied with a smile, Grandpa wants to see you. Let's go home together. After saying that, he gently took her school bag and said, let's go. Her cute, pink-haired friend rested her chin in her hand, her cheeks flushed, dreamily fantasizing. These two are truly a match made in heaven. Scene change arriving at Elder Lu's house. Xi Shang walked in and greeted cheerfully, Hello, Grandpa Lu. Suddenly, a burst of confetti and party poppers startled her. It turned out that Elder Lu had set them off himself. He said happily, Tada, happy birthday, Sheng Sheng. Xi Shang was overflowing with happiness, remembering that after Elder Lu passed away in her past life, she never celebrated her birthday again. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but shed tears. That year, on her birthday, she only received a gift with no name or address. She rushed over and hugged him tightly, saying, Thank you, Grandpa Lu. Elder Lu patted her back happily. Good girl. Fu Hanchuan looked at her bright smile, his heart also filled with joy. Initially, he hadn't planned for Elder Lu to throw such a grand celebration, but now he felt it was all worth it as long as she was happy. Then he approached her and extended his hand. Xi Shang asked in confusion, Brother Fu, what's wrong? Fu Hanchuan simply wanted to remove a piece of confetti from her hair. He gently held the confetti in front of her and said, You have this in your hair. Then he brought the confetti to his nose and sniffed it lightly, saying it smells so sweet. Watching his actions, Xi Shang's cheeks flushed and her heart raced. She thought, why am I like this? My heart won't stop pounding. Elder Lu handed Xi Shang a scroll and said, Sheng Sheng, this is the birthday present I prepared for you. Take it. Xi Shang respectfully accepted it with both hands and replied, Thank you, Grandpa Lu. I love it. As she unrolled the scroll to admire it, she thought, as expected, it's the same painting he gave me in my past life. Lu Zhongwu smiled and said, I'm glad you like it. He nodded to himself in approval. I really appreciate her straightforward and generous attitude. Not a hint of hesitation, unlike other rich young ladies who always politely decline out of courtesy. Just then, Lu Ming came home after playing ball. As soon as he entered, he politely called out, I'm home. He curiously leaned in to look at the painting in Xian Shang's hands and asked, Grandpa, what's this? Elder Lu waved him away. It's none of your business. But Lu Ming still learned the origin of the painting. He cried out in grievance, Grandpa, isn't this your most treasured painting? Someone offered 200 million and you wouldn't sell it. I begged you for over a month and you wouldn't give it to me. How can you give it away now? Elder Lu replied proudly, Of course, I'm willing to give it to Sheng Sheng. Lu Ming said jealously, Grandpa, anyone who didn't know better would think Sheng Sheng is your real granddaughter. Elder Lu didn't say anything and got up to light the candles on the birthday cake. Then he excitedly called to Xian Shang, Sheng Sheng, come quickly and make a wish and blow out the candles. Xian Shang walked to the cake without hesitation, gently closed her eyes, and clasped her hands together to make a wish. Fu Hanchuan, standing beside her, whispered, Sheng Sheng's wish will definitely come true. Elder Lu called her over again and handed her a knife. Sheng Sheng, come and cut the cake. At this moment, Fu Hanchuan was staring at the tall cake with burning eyes, as if he wanted to reduce it to ashes. He thought, cutting such a big cake will take at least 20 minutes. Thinking of this, he glared at Elder Lu, worried that she might get tired, and immediately stepped forward to take the knife. Let me do it. Seeing how considerate he was, Elder Lu couldn't help but praise, this child is truly caring. But he didn't forget to praise Xian Shang, treating her like his own granddaughter. Sheng Sheng should be pampered like a little princess. Lu Ming also took advantage of the lively atmosphere and squeezed between the two, causing Fu Hanchuan some displeasure. He pushed Lu Ming away and carefully wiped the remaining cream from the corner of Xian Shang's mouth. The four of them were together, happy and content, like a warm and joyful family. After the party, Fu Hanchuan finally took out the gift he had meticulously prepared and handed it to Xian Shang. Shang Shang, happy birthday. He opened the box, revealing an exquisite watch. This is a gift I specially prepared for you. See if you like it. Xian Shang looked at the watch and immediately thought of the one she was wearing. She asked curiously, Mr. Fu's watch, is it the same as this one? Fu Hanchuan tensed slightly at her words, but honestly hummed in agreement. In truth, he had always hoped she would notice they were wearing matching couple watches and secretly prayed she would like it. Fortunately, Xian Shang didn't find it strange, but happily accepted the gift. Thank you, Mr. Fu. I really like it. Fu Hanchuan held up the watch and asked for her permission. May I put it on for you? After receiving her consent, he gently fastened the watch around her wrist. As he fastened it, he comforted her. Shang Shang, if the Qin family doesn't celebrate your birthday, Grandpa and I are still here. You don't have to care about them anymore. His large hand enveloped her slender one, his voice gentle, as if giving her strength. But Xian Shang didn't feel sorry for herself at all. Instead, she felt very lucky. As long as I have you by my side, that's enough. I won't let them affect me anymore. Fu Hanchuan continued to console her. Then when do you plan to leave the Qin family? Xian Shang simply replied, soon. I've grown up. I can make some decisions on my own. Fu Hanchuan asked with some concern, is there anything I can do to help? But she calmly refused. No, I have my own plans. Hearing this, he finally breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that his Shang Shang was becoming stronger and stronger. If he couldn't help, then he would be her strongest support. As soon as Xian Shang stepped into the house, the housekeeper couldn't help but say, Miss, Master and Madam are holding a birthday banquet for Chu Rou at the hotel. Although the housekeeper spoke with some apprehension, Xian Shang simply replied indifferently, I know. Then she went straight back to her room and opened her computer to start searching for information. She thought to herself, it was time to initiate the next step of her plan. At this time, the Qin group was facing a major crisis. Their opponent's tactics were extremely insidious, and the situation was chaotic. Xian Shang immediately sent an email. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., I will go to your company. If you want to resolve the crisis, please come and see me. After Qin Quan read the anonymous email, he felt uneasy. This was an internal company email. How did the other party know? He frowned tiredly, his cheeks gaunt from the recent company crisis, his mind in turmoil. Finally, Qin Quan decided to reply to the email. Who are you? Why are you helping me? 10 minutes passed, and Qin Quan was still sitting there, his chin resting on his hand, waiting for a reply, but there was no response. He wondered if this person really had a solution. The scene cut to the reception area of the Qin group. At this moment, Qin Quan was anxious and restless, so he went to the front desk to wait for the person, constantly checking his watch. It was almost 6 o'clock, and no one had shown up. Was the other party playing a trick on him? Just as the clock struck 6, the sound of sneakers rubbing against the floor caught Qin Quan's attention. He turned his head curiously and saw a girl dressed like a student with a small shoulder bag. Qin Quan thought, could this be the person he was waiting for? Even so, he politely asked, "Little girl, are you looking for me?" Xian Shang smiled and extended her hand. "Hello, Mr. Qin. I'm the one who sent the email." Hearing her self-introduction, Qin Quan's hope instantly vanished. It turned out that those emails were just a child's prank, not worth believing at all. He had actually placed his last hope on that email. How ridiculous. Disappointed, Qin Quan gently pushed Xian Shang's back. "Little girl, go home. Your recent actions will only make the company situation worse, but letting things deteriorate isn't your style, is it?" Qin Quan felt as if he had been struck by lightning when he heard her analysis. Xian Shang's words hit the nail on the head. She took another step forward. "Give me some time, and I'll make you believe in my method." Qin Quan decided to take a gamble, thinking that this little bit of time didn't matter. If she really had a way, maybe she could save the company. So he decisively invited her into his office. "All right, let's talk." After Xian Shang sat down, she spoke first. "Before we begin, I have a condition." Qin Quan replied without hesitation. "As long as your method is effective, I will agree to your request." Xian Shang stated without hesitation, "Help me deal with the Qin Group's real estate." Feeling the pressure, the Fu Group representative responded seriously. "Fu Group hasn't developed much in real estate. We haven't planned to focus on it either, and it seems we're far behind the Qin family." Xian Shang, having anticipated this response, confidently continued, "I'll give you an opportunity to develop Fu Group's real estate sector. Afterward, your real estate holdings will definitely surpass the Qin family's." Although her confidence made him somewhat trusting, but there was still a reason for his hesitation, preventing him from making up his mind. Surpassing the industry leader, the Qin family, in such a short time frame. It was simply a fantasy. He froze after scanning just a few lines. A full 10 minutes passed before he dared a question. "Did you really write this?" Qin Quan thought to himself, the logic is so clear, the thinking so meticulous. It would take 30 years of experience in this industry to write such a powerful proposal. Did this young woman really write this? Seriously? Xian Shang replied perfunctorily, "It doesn't matter who wrote it, as long as it's useful, right? If you think it's acceptable, sign it. I'll give you 90 million in startup funds." Given the current state of the company, and with such a good opportunity, Qin Quan would be a fool to miss it. He signed the contract without hesitation. Xian Shang smiled and declared, "Happy cooperation." Before leaving the company, Xian Shang offered a kind reminder. "By the way, there's a problem with your company's firewall. I think one of the reasons for this crisis is internal data leakage. I can help you reinforce the firewall, guaranteeing that no hacker in the world can break through it, including myself." Qin Quan knew she wouldn't help without reason and immediately asked, "What are your conditions?" Xian Shang replied without hesitation, "I want 10 million. You can pay me after this crisis is over." He didn't haggle. "If it's really as you say, I agree." After the exchange, Xian Shang quickly left the Fu Group lobby. After she left, Qin Quan took out the report and reread it, unable to help but admire. Amazing. This report is so well written. The company finally has hope. He immediately called his subordinate, Public Relations Department, immediately initiates self-deprecating mode. Bring out all our strengths and weaknesses, emphasizing them in a humorous tone. The harsher, the better. The public relations employee, hearing this order, asked doubtfully, "Chairman, are you sure?" "Is the chairman all right?" But Qin Quan was firm. "Do as I say." The female employee had no choice but to comply. Meanwhile, at the Qin family residence. In the evening, Qin Hai's mother, old Madame Qin, was pointing at her daughter-in-law, Lin Shuyu, and cursing, "You're such a useless thing, Lin Shuyu. Do you know of the 3 unfilial acts? Having no offspring is the worst. Look at you, married to a Hai for 19 years, and you've only given birth to a daughter, and you're still complacent." After a torrent of abuse, old Madam Qin looked at Qin Hai and said, "Ahai, if Lin Shuyu can't give birth to a son, you go find another woman to have one." For a man, especially an outstanding man, it's normal to have a wife at home and a few lovers outside. Lin Shuyu collapsed on the ground in anguish, desperately denying, "Mom, it's not my fault." She thought angrily to herself, "There's nothing wrong with my body. I haven't been pregnant again since giving birth to Xian Shang. It must be Xian Shang's bad luck. Nothing good has happened since she was born, not even being able to get pregnant again." The more she thought about it, the more she hated Xian Shang. Just then, Xian Shang walked into the house. As soon as old Madam Qin saw her enter, she immediately turned her attention to her. She walked quickly forward, and upon reaching Xian Shang, grabbed her wrist, demanding, "Who are you?" Lin Shiyu quickly spoke up, "Mom, she's my biological daughter." Old Madam Qin frowned upon hearing this and retorted, "Isn't your daughter Qin Chu Rou?" Qin Hai awkwardly explained to his mother. Actually, after a moment, old Madam Qin continued angrily, "So your family is also raising an adopted daughter?" Qin Hai didn't know how to respond. "Mom, Ruru has been with our family for so many years. We have feelings for her too." Old Madam Qin glanced at Qin Chu Rou and sneered, "You should know what to do. Leave the Qin family." Qin Chu Rou stammered, unable to speak after being glared at by her grandmother. She thought to herself, "Dad listens to Grandma so much. If Grandma says I should leave home, I'll definitely be kicked out." Of course, old Madam Qin's thoughts were not as muddled as this couple's. Every word she spoke hit Qin Chu Ru's sore spot. "Qin Chu, you probably can't bear to leave such a good life in the Qin family, can you? How can the countryside compare to the Qin family?" Just as Qin Chu was about to speak, Lin Shuyu rushed to hug her and stopped her mother. "Mom, I disagree. Mom, Churuo is our daughter. If she doesn't stay in the Qin family, where else can she go? Besides, the feng shui master said that our daughter has the destiny of a phoenix and will bring good luck. With Churuo here, the Qin family has been prosperous all these years." This foolish woman didn't forget to look at Xian Shang with disdain, taking every opportunity to belittle her biological daughter. "I think Xian Shang is the jinx. Ever since she came back, our Qin group's real estate business hasn't been going well. I haven't had a son in 19 years because of Xian Shang." Hearing her biological mother say such things, Xian Shang rolled her eyes, too lazy to respond, thinking to herself, "It seems I'm really not part of the Qin family, more like someone from my hometown." Old Mrs. Qin, still sharp, rebuked, "Absurd. In this day and age, you're still so superstitious, blaming everything on a little girl. Aren't you going too far? Saying you can't have a son because of her? Come up with a decent excuse. Do you think I'm a fool?" Xian Shang couldn't help but click her tongue. This old lady was quite astute. Old Mrs. Qin turned to remind her son, "Ahai, I'm telling you, the Qin family's bloodline cannot be muddled by outsiders." She also sternly warned, some people shouldn't interfere too much. They need to know their place. Qin Chu Rou, like a cockroach being chased, certainly didn't dare talk back like she did to others, and could only obediently agree, "Yes, Grandma." But in her heart, she cursed 1,000 times. Why isn't this old woman dead yet? Xian Shang stood outside with her arms crossed, understanding the situation even better. No wonder Lin Shuyu and Qin Hai doted on Qin Chu Rou so much. It turned out they believed she had the destiny of a phoenix and expected her to bring them benefits. She could only sneer, seeing her biological parents' motives clearly. Xian Shang secretly vowed, "Even if Qin Chu Rou really does have the destiny of a phoenix, I will change her fate." After old Mrs. Qin finished dealing with the matter of her adopted daughter and biological daughter, she turned to discuss with Qin Hai. "Ahai, your younger brother isn't doing well at his current company and has resigned. You're the older brother. Are you going to let your younger brother worry about work every day at home?" Lin Shiyu immediately understood old Mrs. Qin's meaning and chanted in her heart, "Don't agree. Otherwise Qin Wei will turn the company upside down." If she had thought things through about Xian Shang earlier, things wouldn't be so messy. Unfortunately, Qin Hai still listened to his mother. "Mom, I'll arrange for him to start working at the company right away." Old Mrs. Qin took the opportunity to say, "Also, your brother doesn't have a house in H-City. I was planning to live with him, but you can't let him rent a place outside, can you?" Lin Shiyu angrily interrupted, "Mom, doesn't the company have dormitories? Ahai will arrange a large dormitory for him. That's enough." She absolutely wouldn't let Qin Wei take advantage of them anymore. Hearing this, old Mrs. Qin angrily pointed at Lin Shuyu's face and scolded, "Do you want me, this old woman, to live in that small room?" "Lin Shuyu, what do you mean? Are you trying to make things difficult for me?" or are you trying to anger me to death? Seeing his mother's anger, Qin Hai quickly came over to smooth things over. Mom, I'll buy a villa for my brother and his family. The property deed will be in his name, okay? Old Mrs. Qin felt that she had won and glared triumphantly at Lin Shuyu, declaring, "Good, that's settled. You're truly filial. I'm going to rest now. Everyone, go to bed early." After watching this farce, Xian Shang returned to her room with a smile, thinking to herself, this family is falling apart. After everyone returned to their rooms, Lin Shuyu cornered her husband by the bed and questioned him. Qin Hai, why did you agree to buy a villa for your useless brother? That's over 10 million. Qin Hai didn't seem to care, scrolling through his phone as he said, it's just a villa. We'll earn it back in a few months. Lin Shuyu shouted angrily, why should we give him our money? Qin Hai finally looked up to explain, he's my brother. What's a few tens of millions? It's only right to help him. She was infuriated by his indifferent attitude. Then give me a few tens of millions too. Qin Hai, my parents didn't agree with our marriage. You promised to give me a good life. I should have listened to them and found someone more capable. Qin Hai couldn't stand her nagging anymore, finding it more annoying than her fair-weather friends. He sat up straight and warned, if you keep making a fuss, we'll get a divorce. After saying that, he lifted the blanket and got out of bed. Lin Shuyu roared from behind, Qin Hai, you're heartless. If I hadn't threatened to break off relations with my family and squeezed out the last of the Lin family's capital, would you be where you are today? She flew into a rage, frantically scratching at Qin Hai, tearing at his shirt. Now that you have money, you've forgotten who helped you. Qin Hai, are you seeing someone else? Qin Hai sneered inwardly. If it weren't for the Lin family's money, I wouldn't have even pursued you. He angrily flung her arm away, roaring, Lin Shuya, don't think my talk of divorce is just to scare you. He shoved her, and Lin Shuya lost her balance, falling to the ground with a scream. Ah. Qin Hai stormed off, leaving Lin Shuya weeping on the ground. Why had things become like this? Just then, Qin Chu Rou appeared, calling out, Mom. Mom, don't worry. The math competition is coming soon, and I'll definitely do well. Then Grandma and Dad will be happy, and our family will be harmonious again. Lin Shuya, clutching at this hope like a lifeline, nodded vigorously. Yes, you're the successful one, Ruru. The next morning at school, the math teacher announced, our school only has one spot for this math competition. Hearing this, Qin Chu Rou thought to herself, there are actually 2 spots for this math competition. Besides our school, there's another one. Last month, my score was the same as Lu Ming's, but Lu Ming transferred to class 4, so this spot should be mine. The teacher continued, for this competition, the homeroom teacher has arranged for Su Yihui to participate. The students began to whisper amongst themselves, then who's the other one? Lu Ming or Qin Sheng? Thinking of this, Qin Chu Rou immediately stood up and demanded, what? Who's the second person? Liang Hua calmly spoke a name, Qin Sheng. Qin Chu Rou collapsed back in her seat, her hands clenched tightly around her skirt in anger, her heart filled with jealousy. Anyone but Xian Shang. My parents can't know Xian Shang is better than me. Xian Shang absolutely cannot participate. Her face darkened, and an indescribable hatred flashed in her eyes. It seems I need to accelerate my plan. Teacher Luo returned the test papers to Xian Shang and Su Yihui, saying, take a look, you two. Your math skills are truly impressive. Even I'm amazed. Don't feel too pressured. You'll definitely do well. That's all for today. Everyone, be careful on your way home. Teacher Luo looked at Xian Shang's test paper and thought, it's normal for Xian Shang to be nervous since she hasn't participated in a competition before, but she seems very calm. She should be fine. Xian Shang and Su Yihui took their papers and said in unison, thank you, Teacher Luo. Leaving the school gates, Su Yihui said, I'll go ahead. Qin Sheng, goodbye. Qin Sheng watched Su Yihui's receding figure, lost in thought. She remembered that in 2 weeks, Sui Lin would become seriously ill, just like in her past life. In her past life, Sui Lin didn't go to school and chose to work, missing that year's college entrance exam. Sui Lin is capable and has good character. Maybe she could get him into the company earlier. Suddenly, Xian Shang sensed someone following her. She looked around, spotting a vague figure. The person was hiding in a corner, but Xian Shang pretended not to notice, completely disregarding their amateurish stalking. Instead, she deliberately led them into a trap. The 3 were completely oblivious, continuing to sneakily follow her. Qin Sheng casually walked into a narrow alleyway. The trio's eyes lit up, thinking they'd struck gold. They immediately rushed forward, surrounding Xian Shang, and started to harass her. Hey there, such a pretty girl, all alone. Xian Shang wasn't afraid at all and confronted them directly. You've been following me for a while. What do you want? The green-haired man was a little surprised, but not worried. He sneered, "You know we're following you, and you still dared to come here alone. You've got guts." The underling next to him, wearing a lewd smile, chimed in, "Boss, this girl is really beautiful. Her figure and face are top-notch. We're in luck today." The guy called boss took a step closer, stroking his chin. "You're right. She's a real beauty. Are you coming with us willingly, or do we have to make you?" Qin Sheng's expression remained unchanged. She countered, "Who sent you? Zhao Jia, Qin Chu Rou, or Liang Hua?" She knew that only these three in the school hated her to this extent. The boss reached out to touch her. "Cut the crap, little beauty. You can't escape today." Her expression instantly turned cold, her brow furrowed. She effortlessly grabbed his wrist and then delivered a fierce kick to his stomach with the force of a thunderbolt, sending him sprawling, spitting, and without a moment to react. Qin Sheng showed no mercy, stepping on his head, his face contorted and bruised, leaving him without the strength to fight back. She didn't want to waste any time, turning to provoke the other two. "You two, come at me together." She observed that the two were pale with fright, their bodies trembling. Where was their courage to save their boss? At this moment, the boss roared furiously, "What are you two still standing there for? Come on." If it didn't go, their boss would deal with them later. If they did, they were afraid of being beaten even worse by Qin Sheng. The two could only grit their teeth and charge forward, shouting to bolster their courage. Finally, these guys managed to pique Qin Sheng's interest a little. She had to admit they had some guts, but before they could lay a finger on Qin Sheng, she'd already sent one of them flying with a kick. The other tried to land a punch while she was dealing with a larger man, but she dodged it effortlessly. Calmly, she followed up with a punch to the man's less than handsome face. Within seconds, Qin Sheng was the only one left standing. All three thugs lay groaning on the ground. Qin Sheng rolled her wrist, scoffing, "Haven't practiced in a while. A little rusty." Just as she was about to taunt them further, someone called her name, Shang. She turned to see Fu Hanquan standing at the end of the alley. The first thing Fu Hanquan saw wasn't Qin Sheng being harassed, but the three bruised and battered thugs groaning on the ground. He walked over, looking her up and down for a long moment before finally sighing in relief. "It's a good thing I follow the tracker. Are you all right, Shang?" She calmly replied, "Brother Fu, I'm fine." As soon as she finished speaking, Fu Hanquan pulled her into a tight embrace, letting out a long breath. "Shang, I'm so glad you're okay." Qin Sheng was initially stunned, but leaning against him, feeling his racing heart, she thought, "His heart is beating so fast. Am I really that important to him?" Deciding not to dwell on it, Qin Sheng comfortably hugged him back. Just then, Assistant Lin arrived with a group of bodyguards calling out, "Mr. Fu." Fu Hanquan was clearly displeased by the interruption. Assistant Lin and the bodyguard immediately turned around awkwardly, with Assistant Lin explaining, "I didn't see anything, Mr. Fu. I'm just here to report that the bodyguards have arrived." Fu Hanquan gripped Qin Sheng's shoulders as if afraid she would disappear. Assistant Lin, he ordered, "Take these three back and find out who was bold enough to touch Qin Sheng." Fu Hanquan held Qin Sheng's shoulders. Feeling his concern, Qin Sheng happily nodded. Quick as lightning, they hid around the corner of the alley to eavesdrop. Liang Hua led a group of students at the front. Seeing the empty alley, she frowned in dissatisfaction. "Where are they?" "I received a message saying Qin Sheng was surrounded by thugs in this alley." Liang Hua noticed bloodstains on the ground and thought to herself, "It seems this blood is Qin Sheng's. I've been hoping for something to happen to her for so long, and finally, it's her turn." She immediately ordered everyone split up and search. Dead or alive, I want to see Qin Sheng. From their hiding spot, Qin Sheng and Fu Hanquan heard everything clearly, but couldn't see who was present. After a while, they seized the opportunity to slip into a car and leave. Sitting in the car, Fu Hanquan took her hand and comforted her. Shang, I'll get to the bottom of what happened today." Qin Sheng added, "Brother Fu, focus on investigating Zhao Jia and Liang Hua. If Qin Chu Rou is involved, leave her to me, okay?" Qin Sheng thought to herself, "Qin Chu Rou and I have been enemies for 2 lifetimes. This time, I won't show any mercy. Doesn't she love the limelight and being adored? Then I'll let her climb even higher, only to fall even harder." Meanwhile, at the Qin residence, Qin Chu Rou was smugly wiping the table, thinking, those 3 thugs must have succeeded by now. There will be a good show at school tomorrow. Rumors of Qin Sheng's humiliation will definitely spread throughout the school. She was lost in thought. The doorbell suddenly rang. Old Madame Qin, leaning back in her chair, snapped, "What are you standing there for? Do you want this old woman to open the door myself? Hurry up." Qin Chu Rou was annoyed, muttering under her breath, "Useless old woman. Who could be this late?" She wondered. She reluctantly went to open the door and was shocked to see Qin Sheng. "What are you doing here, sister?" she exclaimed. Qin Sheng deliberately pressed, "What's wrong? Isn't it normal for me to come home?" Qin Chu Rou quickly explained, "No, I mean, why are you back so late? It's past 7. Qin Sheng leaned closer to her face, lowering her voice. "Qin Chu Rou, I'm perfectly fine. Are you surprised?" The smile on Qin Chu Rou's face completely twisted, her voice trembling. "Sister, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Qin Sheng deliberately kept her words ambiguous. "You know what you did?" After saying this, she casually walked past Qin Chu Rou, leaving her frozen at the doorway, face livid and body trembling like a fallen leaf. Seeing Qin Sheng warn Qin Chu Rou, old Mrs. Qin immediately understood that Qin Chu Rou was playing tricks again, so she said directly, "Sheng, you are the granddaughter of the Qin family. From now on, you don't have to be polite to those who cling to the Qin family and refuse to leave. Scold them if you need to, hit them if you need to. Don't let those who want to usurp our home walk all over you." Qin Sheng politely nodded in agreement and went upstairs with confidence. Old Mrs. Qin continued to nag at Qin Chu Rou, startling her, while saying, "All you do all day is laze around. Hurry up and clean." Qin Chu Rou swept the floor, gritting her teeth in anger, plotting in her mind how to frame Qin Sheng again. How could Qin Sheng escape unscathed? She was so lucky. This couldn't just be left like this. At this time, Assistant Lin was reporting to Fu Hanchuan, "Mr. Fu, we have finished interrogating the 3 thugs." Fu Hanchuan asked, what were they planning to do to Shang Shang? Assistant Lin professionally handed over the report. Zhao Jia instructed them to scare Qin Sheng. Qin Chu Rou gave them 300,000 yuan to humiliate Miss Qin and post the photos online. They wanted to completely ruin Miss Qin's reputation. Fu Hanchuan continued to instruct Assistant Lin while reading the report, investigate everything about them, and hand it over to the police. "We'll deal with it together after Shang Shang's competition is over." Assistant Lin immediately accepted the order. Fu Hanchuan added, "Bring all the work for the next few days here. I'm going to the imperial capital tomorrow. Book 2 tickets for me." Assistant Lin lowered his head and replied, "Understood, Mr. Fu." He immediately left Fu Hanchuan's office to carry out his tasks. As soon as Assistant Lin left, Fu Hanchuan took out his phone and called Qin Sheng. Qin Sheng's voice immediately came from the other end of the phone. "Brother Fu, it's so late. Is something the matter?" He told her, "I'm going to the imperial capital on a business trip tomorrow, and you're going there for the competition too. I'll go with you." Qin Sheng immediately agreed. "Okay." Fu Hanchuan added, "I've already spoken to the principal. You'll stay at my place for these 2 days, and I'll take you to school. Is that all right?" Hearing this, Qin Sheng's cheeks flushed slightly, and she asked shyly, "Stay with Brother Fu." The next morning at the airport, as Fu Hanchuan was fastening his seatbelt, Qin Sheng casually asked, "Brother Hanchuan, will it be inconvenient for you to go to the imperial capital with me? Also about the shared apartment before?" Fu Hanchuan replied directly, "It's fine. I happen to be going to the imperial capital on business, so it's convenient to go together. We can also look after each other." Qin Sheng didn't think too much about it and politely nodded in agreement. The plane finally took off, flying towards the imperial capital. After flying for a while, Qin Sheng became sleepy and fell asleep leaning against her seat. Noticing this, Fu Hanchuan gently took the book from her hand and carefully leaned her head against his shoulder so she could sleep more comfortably. A flight attendant came over and politely asked, "Sir, is there anything you need?" He immediately gestured for her to be quiet and whispered, "Shoo, give me a blanket." The flight attendant quickly brought a blanket and couldn't help but sigh. So sweet. Fu Hanchuan took the blanket and carefully covered Qin Sheng with it. Afterwards, the two of them dozed off, leaning against each other. Outside the window, the sky was azure, with occasional playful rays of sunlight scattering down. As soon as the plane landed, Fu Hanchuan woke up and gently patted Qin Sheng's shoulder. "Qin Sheng, we're here." Qin Sheng woke up in a daze, rubbed her eyes, and asked Brother Han Chuan, "Did I sleep leaning on you the whole way?" Fu Han Chuan answered without hesitation, "Yes." Xian Shang said somewhat awkwardly, "Ah, it's okay." He also took her hand and helped her up. Seeing her looking at him with confusion, he explained, "There are a lot of people, don't get lost." Then they naturally held hands and walked out together. As soon as Xian Shang and Fu Han Chuan reached the arrival area, a staff member was waiting for them. "Mr. Fu, here are your keys." Fu Han Chuan held up the keys and said to Xian Shang, Shang, I'll take you to my villa." The assistant has already put the luggage in the car. After arriving at the villa, Fu Han Chuan immediately showcased his culinary skills. Shang, eat more. After you finish, I'll take you to the exam." Looking at the table full of dishes, she smiled gratefully. "Thank you for your hard work, Brother Fu." He filled a bowl of soup for her and reminded her thoughtfully, "Be careful, it's hot. Drink slowly." Then he rested his chin on his hand and quietly watched her eat and drink. As she drank, she suddenly asked him out of the blue, "Brother Fu, I was just thinking if you have a girlfriend in the future." She only dared to keep the rest of her words in her heart, silently praying that Brother Fu would always be good to her. Having experienced too much indifference and deception in her past life, she desperately clung to this warmth in this life, refusing to let go. Fu Han Chuan seriously called her name. "Xian Shang, my kindness to you will never change in this lifetime." He gently wiped her mouth. "Good luck." Suddenly, Teacher Lai appeared from behind, sneering, Well, isn't this Teacher Luo, who always loses to me, bringing students to the competition again? The student you brought looks quite unfamiliar. I guess they haven't participated in many competitions, have they? Bringing such a mediocre person, aren't you afraid they'll drag you down?" Teacher Luo knew his personality too well and didn't bother arguing with him, only reminding him, "Teacher Lai, you should worry about your own students' results first." Teacher Lai thought Teacher Luo was provoking him and immediately retorted, "Humph, I like to see who has the last laugh." The bell rang, and the exam officially began. Not long after, Xian Shang had already put down her pen. The invigilator immediately noticed her as he passed by. In all my years of invigilating, this is the first time I've seen someone sleeping in the exam hall. Which school sent this student? They're not doing the exam, and their attitude is so casual. The invigilator casually picked up her paper and looked at it. At first, he didn't think much of it, thinking that the entire paper was filled, probably with random answers. It hadn't even been 30 minutes. How could she have finished all the questions? But when he saw the middle part, the invigilator was stunned. All the answers were correct. How is this possible? He was so nervous that he broke out in a cold sweat, simply unable to believe it. The invigilator's gaze towards Xian Shang changed, filled with admiration. If she didn't know the answers beforehand, then she was a genius. When the time reached exactly 9:50, Xian Shang suddenly stood up and said to the invigilator, "Teacher, I want to hand in my paper." The surrounding students were all surprised. Shi Manyun, seeing her hand her paper so early, was filled with disdain. "I thought the person representing H City High School in the math competition would be amazing, but it turns out they're nothing special." Xian Shang was the first to walk out of the examination hall, immediately attracting the attention of the reporters present. Handing the paper 40 minutes early, she was either a terrible student or a math genius. Moreover, everyone was saying that this competition was so difficult that even math professors had headaches. It seemed that the school newspaper had its headline for the week. As soon as she walked out the door, several reporters rushed up to interview her. "You came out so quickly. Did you finish everything or did you give up?" Student, was the exam difficult? It said online that this is the most difficult one in the past 10 years. What do you think? Xian Shang smiled without any pressure and replied, "It wasn't difficult. I'm confident I'll get first place." Teacher Lai naturally saw this scene and immediately mocked his old rival. "Your student is really fast." She came out with 40 minutes left in the exam. Did she finish everything or did she just hand in a blank paper because she couldn't do it? I'll see if she can even get 20 or 30 points. Even when provoked, Teacher Luo still believed in his student, hands in his pockets, calmly retorting, "Lai Bo, don't speak too soon. We'll see this afternoon. Our school's Shi Manyun will definitely get first place." In the afternoon, when the results were announced, Xian Shang took first place with a perfect score of 100, astonishing everyone who saw the scores. Who would have thought that the first place winner would have a perfect score? At this time, Teacher Lai anxiously searched for his student's name on the list. Shi Manyun, where are you? To his surprise, she was only ranked 20th. As soon as Shi Mannion saw the results, she questioned Bu Fu Chi de Gun. How did I only get 81 points? How am I only 20th? Teacher Lai was naturally unwilling to accept this and immediately began to scold her, even comparing her to Qin Sheng. Look at Qin Sheng, she handed in her paper early and still got a perfect score. You almost didn't even make it to the finals. Shi Mannion retorted jealously. Impossible. Qin Sheng must have cheated. She slept after only half an hour. How could she get a perfect score? Qin Sheng must have bribed the examination committee, or had connections and knew the answers in advance. A perfect score in 30 minutes on the math competition is simply impossible. This test was set by the Ministry of Education. Qin Sheng must have someone backing her. As soon as she spoke, other students started to discuss. I thought she was a genius, but it turns out she cheated. How embarrassing. Teacher Lai added fuel to the fire. Exactly. Schools nowadays are not as good as they used to be. They just want to use this opportunity to show off and attract outstanding students. It's not impossible. Teacher Luo couldn't help but speak up. I believe my student didn't cheat. Qin Sheng does have this ability. Teacher Lai sneered. Of course, you would definitely protect your student. As the two were arguing, a voice suddenly interrupted them, attracting everyone's attention. Who said our Department of Education is backing Qin Sheng? Someone from the Kyoto Department of Education walked straight up to Teacher Lai and questioned, are you saying we leaked the answers to Qin Sheng? Although Teacher Lai was a little scared, he still stubbornly retorted, it's just that her results are too unbelievable. If we don't investigate this thoroughly, everyone definitely won't be convinced. He appeared tough on the surface, but he was very worried inside. What's going on? Why are people from the Department of Education here? Could it really be because of that Qin Sheng? The person from the Kyoto Department of Education angrily rebuked, nonsense. As a teacher, you should understand that there are always people better than you. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean Qin Sheng can't either. Don't slander students without evidence, and you even dare to slander the Department of Education. Teacher Lai nodded repeatedly in fear. Yes, yes, yes. He quickly pushed Shi Mannion forward, forcing her to bow and apologize. You didn't study hard yourself, and you framed someone else. Quickly apologized to the teacher from Qin Sheng School. Shi Mannion, her face full of shame, bowed deeply. Teacher Luo, I'm sorry. Teacher Luo waved his hand. If you want to apologize, go apologize to Qin Sheng. The person from the Kyoto Department of Education turned to Teacher Luo and said, Qin Sheng and 2E are both good seedlings from your school. You must cultivate them well. Yes, Minister. At Fu Hanchuan's house, Qin Sheng received a message from Teacher Luo. Congratulations, Qin Sheng, you got a perfect score on the exam this morning. As soon as she received the message, she immediately told Fu Hanchuan the good news. Brother Fu, I got 100 on the test. He immediately moved closer to her and gently patted her head in praise. Well done. The warmth of his palm made her heart race. Qin Sheng shyly reminded him, Brother Fu, your hand. Fu Hanchuan realized he had been a little forward and quickly withdrew his hand. Changing the subject, Sheng, are you planning to leave the Qin family? Have you found a place to live yet? She honestly replied, not yet. He took the opportunity to tempt the silly girl. Sheng, my house is very quiet. You can move in. Qin Sheng asked in surprise, move to your house. Qin Sheng hesitated a little and asked, wouldn't that bother you? Fu Hanchuan said casually, no, it's quite lonely living alone. She looked at him, thinking to herself, Brother Fu's mother passed away when he was young, and his father favors his stepmother. He's not really valued in the Fu family, so he moved out a long time ago. We really share similar unfortunate circumstances. Thinking of this, Qin Sheng replied with a smile. Okay, I'll consider it. Fu Hanchuan responded cheerfully, thinking to himself, if Grandpa speaks up about it, the chances of Sheng agreeing are very high. Then he thought with some disappointment, I feel like my position in Sheng's heart is about the same as Grandpa's, maybe even less than old Chen's. Qin Sheng stood up and suggested, it's getting late, Brother Fu. Let's go eat. Fu Hanchuan readily agreed. Okay, I'll listen to you. Seeing him agree, she happily skipped ahead, even whistling. He leisurely smiled and followed behind her, watching her back, a vision of their happy future appearing in his mind. I really want to be the only person in her heart. Early the next morning, the finals continued. Shi Mannion looked at Qin Sheng, her eyes full of jealousy and envy. The proctor announced with a loudspeaker, this year's math competition finals will use a buzzer system. Students, don't be nervous. As soon as the voice fell, the shutters of the reporters' cameras clicked incessantly. Teacher Luo and Teacher Lai also nervously observed their respective students. Shi Manyun thought jealously through gritted teeth. How can she be so smart and beautiful? I don't believe she can get a perfect score today. The proctor quickly projected the test questions onto the screen, and the students immediately buried their heads in their work, Xi Shang included. But in less than 5 seconds, she raised her answer board and announced, "I'm finished." The judges' panel was instantly in an uproar. Finally, the judges announced, Xi Shang's answer is completely correct. Student Xi Shang is amazing. It took us 30 seconds to figure it out, and you finished it in just 2 seconds. Teacher Luo jumped up with joy. Fantastic. Our school will definitely win this time. Shi Manyun's face changed. She glared fiercely at Xi Shang, clutching the pen cap tightly, cursing inwardly. I knew it. If it weren't for Xi Shang, I would be the one everyone's praising. Damn her. Even the proctor was sweating during the exam because of her outstanding performance. Yes, contestant Xi Shang answered all 10 questions correctly, a well-deserved champion. The other contestants were completely awestruck, standing up and applauding, offering their sincere congratulations. That's right, she's the real genius. Yeah, the first perfect score. She's a genius. Only Shi Manyun remained seated, gnashing her teeth in resentment. Damn it, I only got one question right. It's all Xi Shang's fault. She made me lose my composure. Suddenly, she jumped up excitedly and shouted, I question Xi Shang's score. Seeing this, Teacher Lai could only curse idiot under his breath. Xi Shang, the subject of the accusation, remained calmly seated, as if all of this had nothing to do with her. The reporters, sensing a big story, immediately swarmed around, vying to ask questions. Why do you suspect Xi Shang of cheating? Do you have any evidence? Shi Manyun replied confidently. She got a perfect score on the last written exam, and now she's beaten everyone again. Honestly, who in the world can answer all the questions correctly in such a short time? I have the right to question it. The female judge on the panel stood up and suggested, if everyone doubts Xi Shang's ability, let's give her a chance to prove herself. The experts and math teachers here will come up with 10 questions, and Xi Shang needs to complete them within 15 minutes. What do you all think? Xi Shang confidently agreed. Okay, but then she looked at Shi Manyun. However, Shi Manyun, you said yesterday that you would apologize to me. Where's the apology? Shi Manyun clenched her fists and said stubbornly, Xi Shang, don't get cocky. Just wait and see if you can't solve them. Xi Shang smiled slightly and retorted, and if I can finish within the time limit, will you believe that I didn't cheat? Shi Manyun replied seriously, I will. Xi Shang responded decisively. Good. Remember to apologize later. Don't try to run away. She then sat down at the table and began answering the questions under everyone's gaze and Shi Manyun's anxious stare. Before long, she put down her pen and announced, I'm finished. The proctor, seeing this, was still a little worried for her. Xi Shang, don't you want to check your answers? But this worry was clearly unnecessary. Xi Shang confidently replied, no need. The female judge took the paper and checked it, her jaw dropping in surprise. All correct, all correct. Xi Shang's results are completely deserved. Xi Shang calmly twirled her pen, listening as the judge announced loudly, congratulations to Xi Shang for winning the championship of this math competition. At this moment, Shi Manyun was trembling all over, unable to stand steadily, slowly backing away, thinking, how could this be? I'm finished. I'm really finished. The female judge affectionately put her arm around Xi Shang's shoulder and said with a smile, so Xi Shang's results are real. We are very happy to announce that Xi Shang has won first place in this year's Math Olympiad. The whole room erupted, cheers rising wave after wave. Suddenly, admissions teachers from various universities swarmed in, vying to recruit her. Xi Shang, come to our Imperial Capital University. We'll give you the best professors and learning resources, waive all tuition fees, and there's a 500,000 yuan bonus every year. What do you think? Another admissions teacher interjected, No. Shanghai University is one of the top 3 universities in the country. Come to our school. we'll give you 700,000. One admissions teacher even grabbed her hand, wanting to finalize the deal on the spot in a single-person dorm. You could do whatever you want on campus, all expenses paid. Qin Sheng immediately withdrew her hand and politely declined. I'm sorry, I want to take the college entrance exam and go to the school I like. But the two teachers were still persistent, stuffing their business cards into her hand. This is my business card. Contact me after the college entrance exam. This spot is reserved for you. Just then, Qin Sheng saw Qin Mannion trying to sneak away and immediately shouted, "Stop." The two admissions teachers, thinking she was about to change her mind, their eyes lit up. But Qin Sheng walked straight toward Qin Mannion, whose face was now pale. Qin Sheng said, "You haven't apologized to me yet. Don't even think about leaving." Clearly in the wrong, Qin Mannion stubbornly retorted, "Why should I apologize? Do you have any proof?" Little did she know, Qin Sheng had anticipated this and had recorded her words. Her tone threatening, Qin Sheng said, "If you don't apologize, I'll play the recording for everyone to hear." To prove she wasn't joking, she pressed the play button and Qin Mannion's voice immediately rang out from the recording. "I question Qin Sheng's score. Who can answer all the questions correctly in such a short time? I'm just saying I have the right to question it." After the recording ended, Qin Sheng said coldly, "False accusations can get you expelled." Only when Qin Sheng threatened legal action did Qin Mannion finally break down, bowing her head to apologize. "I'm sorry, Qin Sheng, I was wrong. Please forgive me." Qin Sheng simply stared coldly at her, then turned and left. The atmosphere instantly froze. By the time Qin Sheng returned home, it was already dark. Before she could even enter, her dear younger sister blocked the doorway, her face full of sarcasm. Well, if it isn't our little scholar back home." Qin Sheng, cold as ice, ordered her to move. Qin Chu Rou spread her arms, challenging her. "Qin Sheng, who do you think you are? A country bumpkin trying to steal everything. First, mom and dad, then my good grades, and now you're even trying to horn in on the math competition. Let me tell you, you won't win." Qin Sheng didn't back down, retorting, "What's yours I can't take. What's not yours I will take back piece by piece." Qin Chu Rou, still puzzled, puffed out her chest and asked Qin Sheng, "Is the math competition difficult? Did you bomb it from the start and end up at the bottom?" She smiled softly and said, "I'm afraid I've disappointed you again, dear. I took first place and even broke the record." As she spoke, she deliberately bumped Qin Chu Rou's shoulder. "Qin Chu Rou est face practicalis crime impossible." Qin Sheng didn't bother with her and walked straight into the house, adding, "Whether it's true or not, you'll find out tomorrow." Qin Chu Rou frowned, thinking, the math competition results will be published online and mom and dad will definitely see them. If they know how amazing Qin Sheng is, won't all their attention shift to her? No, I have to get Qin Sheng out of the Qin family quickly. Her face twisted like a mad dog, and she immediately took out her phone and dialed a number. "Hello." Zhao Jia, huddled under her covers, answered the phone in a panic, her voice trembling. "It's over. Qin Sheng seems to know I was involved in the kidnapping. The police have already come to my house to investigate. Chu Rou, what should we do?" Qin Chu Rou replied after listening, "I know. I'll help you." Zhao Jia said tearfully, "Chu Rou, hurry up then." After hanging up, she coldly tossed her phone aside, muttering under her breath, "Helping her will only drag me down. Does she think I'm stupid? She's on her own." A few days later, Qin Chu Rou was walking alone on the street. Suddenly, a dark figure appeared from behind, grabbing her shoulder. Her face paled in fright, and she screamed, "Who are you?" Zhao Jia removed her mask and gestured to Qin Chu Rou. "It's me, Zhao Jia. Should be quiet." Only then did Qin Chu Rou relax, asking, "What did you bring me here for?" Zhao Jia gripped her shoulders tightly, choking back sobs. "Chu Rou, will you really help me? These past few days, I've been like a fugitive, having nightmares every night. The police could come and arrest me at any time. I'm going crazy." Qin Chu Rou looked away, avoiding Zhao Jia's gaze, and said perfunctorily, "Jia, I asked Dad to help you, but the situation is complicated. It might take a while." Zhao Jia asked in terror, "Chu Rou, it's not complicated at all. You just don't want to help, do you? Aren't you the one who hates Qin Sheng the most?" She quickly reassured her accomplice, "Zhao Jia, you misunderstood. It's not that I don't want to help, it's that there's nothing I can do." Zhao Jia said angrily, "Stop lying to me, Qin Chu Rou. Aren't you afraid I'll report you?" Qin Chu Rou looked at her provocatively. Go ahead and try, Zhao Jia. Either hide quietly or don't blame me for being unkind. Zhao Jia repeated in a low voice, unkind. Her hand trembled as she pulled out a small knife she had prepared and swung it wildly at Qin Chu Rou, sneering, Qin Chu Rou, I'm finished, and you won't get away with this either. A scream suddenly pierced the silent night. Ah! Qin Chu Rou covered her face with one hand and pushed Zhao Jia away forcefully with the other. Zhao Jia fell to the ground, but laughed triumphantly. Qin Chu Rou, this is retribution. She desperately touched her blood-covered face, lamenting unwillingly, my face is ruined. I become ugly. Qin Chu Rou lunged at Zhao Jia like a madwoman. Zhao Jia, do you want to die? But how could she compare to someone who no longer wanted to live? Zhao Jia quickly pointed the short knife at Qin Chu Rou's chest, making her freeze. Zhao Jia took the opportunity to press closer, threatening fiercely, Qin Chu Rou, if you dare move again, I'll kill you. We'll die together. Qin Chu Rou trembled all over, raising her hands in a soft plea. Zhao Jia, please let me go. Seeing her like this, Zhao Jia didn't say a word, turned, and left, leaving Qin Chu Rou kneeling on the ground. She quickly called home. Mom, my face is ruined. Hearing her daughter's cries, Lin Xia rushed over anxiously, comforting her beloved daughter. Chu Rou, where are you? Mom will be right there. She was so anxious, she didn't even have time to put on a coat. Upstairs, Qin Sheng silently watched everything unfold. She said gleefully, Qin Chu Rou's face is ruined. It seems there's a good show to watch. Qin Chu Rou cares so much about her appearance. Now that it's ruined, she'd probably rather die. Sipping her freshly brewed coffee, she took the opportunity to send Fu Hanchuan a message. Hanchuan, Qin Chu Rou's face is ruined. Our plan has taken another step forward. After sending the message, she thought, is sending just one message too serious? Should I add an emoji to soften it up? At this moment, Fu Hanchuan's phone received a message notification, and he immediately paused the meeting. Wait a moment. Seeing the message from Qin Sheng and the cute emoji she attached, Fu Hanchuan couldn't help but smile slightly, thinking to himself, so cute. But his smile scared everyone in the meeting room. Everyone was thinking how he's seen a ghost. The CEO has never smiled before. He didn't even raise an eyebrow when we signed the billion-dollar contract last time. What's going on this time? A senior member mustered up the courage to ask, Mr. Fu, whose message were you just looking at? Seeing his bravery, everyone around him couldn't help but sigh. He truly is our role model. Fu Hanchuan, still wearing the same smile, replied a little piggy. Everyone looked at each other curiously. Isn't this love? This is clearly a sign of being in love. What kind of woman could capture a godlike figure like the CEO? At this time, Lin Xia was busy packing things at the hospital for her beloved daughter Rou, bringing this and that, just in case. Her anxious mood was in stark contrast to Qin Sheng's calmness. Seeing Qin Sheng's attitude, she was furious and started shouting, Qin Sheng, your sister's face was cut last night, and she's still in the hospital. How can you still be sitting here playing with your phone? Qin Sheng didn't even look up and said indifferently, she's not my sister. Lin Xia angrily threw the toothpaste in her hand to the ground and shouted, Qin Sheng, what did you say? Ruru is your sister, unless you're not part of the Qin family. Qin Sheng put down her phone and said something confusing in a cold voice, leaving Lin Xia stunned, asking, what? Qin Sheng stood up and said seriously, as you wish, I, Qin Sheng, will leave the Qin family. I'm no longer part of the Qin family. Lin Xia asked in surprise. With a hint of joy in her tone, you're saying you're leaving the Qin family. She thought to herself, I've been hoping for Qin Sheng to get lost for a long time. She's the jinx of the Qin family. She couldn't be happier. Without her, the Qin family would definitely have smooth sailing. Qin Sheng replied with a sarcastic expression, I do what I say. As she left, she thought to herself, I'll go to the Qin group today and deliver the final blow to Qin real estate. Soon after, Qin Sheng quickly appeared at the Qin group. Mr. Chen personally brought a cup of freshly brewed coffee and placed it in front of her, saying gratefully, Sheng, thanks to your plan, the crisis has finally been resolved. Qin Sheng calmly picked up the coffee and took a sip. This was all within expectations. Mr. Chen placed the document on the table and continued, Sheng, thank you for your previous investment. It really helped us out of a tight spot. This is the company share I'm giving you. Learning that she had received a 20% share, Qin Sheng was a little surprised. This much. The previous investment was only enough for 2%. Mr. Chen bowed 90 degrees and said sincerely, Sheng, this share is nothing. Without you, our company would have collapsed long ago. I sincerely want to thank you. Qin Sheng readily agreed. Then I won't stand on ceremony. She then took out another document. I want you to do this next. Mr. Chen eagerly took the document and opened it, thinking that whatever Sheng gave him must be good. But as soon as he finished reading the contents, he was shocked. This is, Qin Sheng explained happily. I want you to snatch Qin Real Estate's biggest partner. Fu Hanchuan's secretary reported to him, Mr. Fu, Qin Group is currently in contact with Qin Real Estate's largest partner. Upon hearing this, Fu Hanchuan praised silently. Sheng is really fast. She's already helping me. He immediately ordered. Then you go and talk to Qin Real Estate's second largest real estate partner. The secretary immediately followed his instructions, but felt sorry for the Qin family being targeted by this couple. Qin Hai is basically finished. At this moment, in the Qin real estate office, Qin Hai was Pajai Duoshang leaning on his desk, looking at the mountain of reports, thinking, how did Qin Group suddenly develop so fast? It's about to catch up with Qin Real Estate. Perhaps he was thinking too much. In just a few days, his health had visibly deteriorated. Suddenly, an employee rushed and panicked. Chairman, something terrible has happened. Qin Group has canceled their cooperation with us. They are our biggest partner. This news made Qin Hai slam his fist on the table and stand up in anger. He immediately asked, was this the Qin Group's doing? An employee quickly replied, based on the information they leaked, it's highly likely. Qin Hai frowned and cursed, damn Qin Quan. He immediately ordered, keep a close eye on Oncon Group. Absolutely do not let them contact anyone from the Qin Group. No sooner had he spoken than another employee rushed in. Panicked, Chairman, it's bad. Confronting Group wants to terminate the contract. Qin Hai anxiously asked, isn't our contract still valid? The employee replied, they said they would compensate us for the breach of contract and want us to go over and terminate it immediately. Qin Hai collapsed into his chair, feeling drained, wondering how two major partners could want to terminate their contracts at the same time. He forced himself to give instructions. Go out and find investors. Qin Real Estate is willing to sell 15% of its shares. Seeing the urgency of the situation, the two subordinates could only agree, yes, sir. Early the next morning, Qin Hai looked at the plummeting stock price of the company, feeling numb. It's over. It's over. Why is the stock falling so sharply? At this rate, Qin Real Estate will go bankrupt. Amidst this crisis, a subordinate brought in a man and introduced him. Chairman, Mr. Feng from Feng Group is here. He says he wants to talk to you about investment. Qin Hai immediately perked up and greeted him enthusiastically. Mr. Feng, welcome, welcome. Please have a seat. Feng Shuo thought to himself, so this is Qin Sheng's father. Sitting opposite him, Feng Shuo said in a serious tone, Chairman Qin, I won't beat around the bush. I'm here today to discuss investment. Qin Hai waved his hand. Don't worry, Mr. Feng. As long as you invest $300 million to help the company through this difficult time, I'm willing to sell 15% of the shares. Unexpectedly, Feng Shuo refused. I don't want the shares, but I need something else. Qin Hai was puzzled. Mr. Feng, what do you mean? Feng Shuo said bluntly, I want your daughter. Qin Hai was stunned. My daughter. He repeated, I can give you $300 million, but I don't want the 15% stake. Just give me Qin Sheng. Qin Hai hesitated. Qin Sheng. He was suspicious. How does Mr. Feng know Qin Sheng is my daughter? Feng Shuo didn't bother to explain and stood up directly. Chairman Qin, I'll give you 2 days to think about it. This offer won't last forever. He quickly stood up and assured him, don't worry, I'll give you an answer soon. Meanwhile, Qin Chu Rou was making a scene at the hospital. After waking up and having to face her disfigured appearance, her mental state was getting worse and worse. This isn't me. This isn't me. I'm not this ugly. Lin Xia hugged her and comforted her. Chu Rou, don't be afraid. Mom will find a way to remove the scars. If not, we'll get plastic surgery. Qin Chu Rou said angrily, I still want to be a star. If people find out I've had plastic surgery, what will they think of me? Lin Xia soothed her. Chu Rou, don't cry. Don't let the tears flow into the wound. Qin Chu Rou screamed like a madwoman, Mom. You must avenge me. Zhao Jia did this to me. I can't let her get away with it. Hearing her beloved daughter say this, Lin Shuya was stunned and saddened. How did Chu Rou become so vicious? Qin Chu Rou also noticed the change in her mother's expression and realized she had gone too far. She quickly put on a pitiful look. Mom, it was all Zhao Jia's fault. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be disfigured. Mom, I can't breathe. Lin Shuya's suspicion lessened, and she continued to comfort her daughter. Chu Rou, our family doesn't have that much power. We can't interfere with the police. But when she gets out and looks for a job, we'll teach her a good lesson. Seeing that her goal was achieved, Qin Chu Rou hugged her and said, "Thank you, Mom." Just then, Qin Hai walked in. Qin Chu Rou couldn't help but shout, "Dad, you're finally here." Lin Xia also stood up and asked, "Hi, has the company issue been resolved?" Qin Hai immediately explained what had happened. The investment has been negotiated, but there's a condition. He wants Qin Sheng. Lin Xia immediately started calculating. Hi, Qin Sheng is our daughter. No matter what, we gave her life, and now it's time for her to repay us. Qin Hai nodded. Yes, the other party's conditions aren't bad either. He's the CEO of Phone Group, 35 years old this year, and not yet married. Qin Chu Rou, malicious at heart, naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. Dad, I remember someone who would be perfect to marry him. We can't let Qin Sheng marry into such a good family. Qin Hai asked curiously who. Qin Chu answered triumphantly, the CEO of HD Group. She thought to herself, I heard the CEO of HD Group is old and ugly, perfect for Qin Sheng. Qin Chu gloated inwardly. The CEO of HD Group must be a middle-aged, married man. If Qin Sheng goes with him, she'll only be a mistress. Lin Xia, hearing her daughter say this, asked in confusion, Chu Rou, what do you mean? Qin Chu Rou immediately put on an obedient expression and explained to her parents that HD Group's president was even more powerful than Mr. Phone. Since she would have to marry someone eventually, she might as well marry him. It might even be beneficial to their family. She didn't mean anything else by it. She just felt her sister should share some of her father's burden. If she hadn't been disfigured, she could have helped her father, and her sister wouldn't have to do this. Qin Hai raised an eyebrow, thoughtfully saying, I understand. He then turned and left. I have some matters to attend to at the company. I'll go first. In reality, he was thinking that it was only 3 o'clock and he could still rush to HD Group. Fu Hanchuan was working when he suddenly received a call from his secretary. As soon as he answered, the other party urgently said, Chairman Qin Hai just came to the company looking for you, saying he wants to bring your wife, no, Qin Jing, to you. Fu Hanchuan chuckled. Let him wait, I'll be right there. After hanging up, he quickly put on a black mask to conceal his identity. He couldn't let them know he was the president of HD Group. Otherwise, the Fu family would definitely bother him. He'd rather spend more time with Sheng Sheng. After preparing, he strolled in. Seeing him, Qin Hai curiously asked the secretary beside him. The secretary, with a sarcastic tone, said, Haven't you been wanting to see him? This is our president. Qin Hai was startled and quickly extended his hand politely. Hello, Vice President Fu. He was thinking to himself, wasn't it said that the president of HD Group was a middle-aged man? Looking at the person in front of him, he was at most in his 20s. Fu Hanchuan deliberately ignored Qin Hai's outstretched hand, brushing past him lightly, leaving him somewhat embarrassed. Fu Hanchuan sat down coldly, adjusted his cuffs, and simply asked the photo. Qin Hai hesitantly handed over the photo. In the photo, Qin Sheng was focused on reading under a tree. Looking at her photo, Fu Hanchuan's expression softened slightly. He asked, What do you mean by this? Hearing him speak, Qin Hai was overjoyed, feeling that there was a chance. He quickly explained, Vice President Fu, my daughter is beautiful, and although she's only in her last year of high school, she's not young. If possible, she could be your girlfriend. Fu Hanchuan rested his chin on his hand and looked up at him. Qin Hai, are you selling your daughter? His intentions exposed, Qin Hai quickly defended himself. No, I just think you and my daughter are a good match. I just want to be a matchmaker for you too. He felt apprehensive, unsure if Vice President Fu was interested at all. It was impossible to tell. Fu Hanchuan didn't reveal anything, simply following up with, Tell me, what do you really want? Qin Hai finally coughed and said, Mr. Fu, Qin real estate has been suppressed by competitors recently, and our funds are a little tight. At this point, he nervously wiped the cold sweat constantly appearing on his forehead, his face looking as if it hadn't seen sunlight in a long time. Fu Hanchuan, however, remained indifferent, bringing the topic back to the original point. Isn't this selling your daughter? These words made Qin Hai's face instantly pale, his heart crying out in alarm. He quickly explained again, No, Mr. Fu, you're so handsome, and you're the big boss of HD Group. My daughter would definitely be willing to marry you. This is definitely not selling. Fu Hanchuan finally grew impatient and waved his hand to interrupt. Enough. He abruptly stood up and slammed his hand on the table, startling Qin Hai. Qin Hai, for your own benefit, you're treating your daughter as someone else's mistress. Do you have a conscience? The thing I despise the most are parents who don't treat their children like human beings. Congratulations, you've become the kind of person I hate the most. Qin Hai hadn't yet reacted, eager to salvage the situation. Mr. Fu, I really love my daughter. She would definitely be willing to help the family. After listening, Fu Hanchuan simply tilted his head slightly and uttered two words indifferently. Is that so? Qin Hai's heart was chilled by his icy gaze, suddenly feeling as if he had been seen through. Fu Hanchuan said coldly, Let me tell you something else. Your precious daughter, Qin Chu Rou, offended me. That's why this time, with your real estate company's crisis, both Confronting Group and Shun Group refusing to cooperate with you, was all my doing. Qin Hai couldn't believe it. Mr. Fu, what exactly did Rua do to offend you? Is there some misunderstanding? Fu Hanchuan didn't say anything more, only telling him to investigate himself. You wouldn't believe me even if I told you. Qin Hai watched Fu Hanchuan's departing figure, his last shred of hope extinguished, gritting his teeth. What on earth did Rua do to offend HD Group? My lifeline is also severed. Frustrated, he quickly dialed Feng Shua's number. As soon as the call connected, he blurted out, Mr. Feng, I agree to your terms. Good, come to the company. Feng Shua, sitting upright in a chair in Feng Group's conference room, tossed a document onto the table for Qin Hai to see. Qin Hai was shocked after reading the document. It was a severance agreement, stating that if Shang severed ties with the Qin family, she could no longer rely on them, no matter what happened. Feng Shua waited for Qin Hai to finish reading before speaking. As you can see, I don't want Shang to have such a family of bloodsuckers, so her household registration must also be removed from the Qin family. Qin Hai stared at the document on the table, hesitating to pick up the pen and sign. Seeing this, Feng Shua goaded him. Chairman Qin, sign it. You have no choice. Panicked by the pressure, Qin Hai blurted out, I'll sign. Feng Shua continued, your wife's signature is also required. Also, bring Shang's household registration book when you return. Once everything is done, the money will be transferred immediately. Qin Hai responded submissively, Okay, I'll do it right away. Back at the hospital, Qin Hai angrily threw the document in front of Lin Shuya. Sign it. She snatched the document and read it. It clearly stated that it was a severance agreement. Lin Shuya was confused. Hage, what does this mean? Qin Hai roared impatiently. If you don't sign it, be prepared to move out of the villa and live in a cheap apartment. Frightened, she quickly picked up the pen. I'll sign. Then she tugged at Qin Hai's arm and asked, Hage, aren't you going to meet the CEO of HD Group? Don't they want Qin Sheng? Qin Hai angrily pointed at Qin Chu Rou, who was eavesdropping from the hospital bed, and cursed, It's all because of this useless daughter of yours. Does she even know who HD Group is? How dare she offend them? Qin Chu Rou looked aggrieved. Dad, I don't even know him. Qin Hai became even more furious. Would the CEO lie? You two better resolve this yourselves. If I find out you're scheming against Qin Jing, none of you will have it easy. With that, he slammed the door and left, leaving Lin Shuya and her daughter trembling in fear. Shang held Fu Hanchuan's hand and headed to Fengshe Film and Television Company. Feng Shua was already waiting at the entrance. Sheng, you're finally here. Seeing Fu Hanchuan with his arm around Shang, his attitude immediately took a 180-degree turn. Feng Shua looked at Fu Hanchuan with a puzzled expression. What did I do to offend CEO Fu? Why does he keep looking at me like that? Once inside the office, Shang finally spoke. Where are the things? Feng Shua placed the items on the table. The severance agreement and household registration book are all here. Shang took the documents with secret joy. From now on, she had nothing to do with the Qin family. From now on, I am myself no longer a member of the Qin family. Feng Shua pushed a card towards her. Sheng, the floating cloud painting auction has ended. The total revenue is 6.4 billion, and after deducting expenses, there are 300 million left. This is your 5% share, 150 million. Thank you, Feng Shuo said enthusiastically. Sheng, if you need anything in the future, just ask. As long as I can do it, I will definitely help you. Fu Hanchuan immediately interrupted him. That's not necessary. No matter what happens, I will face it with her. Feng Shuo thought helplessly. This dog food was thrown out of the blue. The atmosphere in the room was divided into 3 parts. One side speechless, one side weary and wary, and the other side completely clueless. Fu Hanchuan broke the silence and turned to Xi and Shang. It's getting late. Let's go home. The scene shifted to the Liu family home. Everyone cheerfully pulled party poppers, celebrating Xi and Shang is free. Congratulations on breaking away from the Qin family. Xi and Shang politely responded, "Thank you, Grandpa." Old Master Liu took the opportunity to say, Sheng, from now on, treat me as your own grandfather. He gave Fu Hanchuan a sly smile. There's one more thing. Fu Hanchuan's face paled, and he had a bad feeling. Why do I suddenly have a bad premonition? Old Master Liu patted his shoulder and said to Xi and Shang, Sheng, from now on, treat him as your older brother. The old man was smug, thinking to himself, kid, you want to compete with me? Let's see who wins. Don't think you can take my precious granddaughter away so quickly. You still want to limit my contact with Sheng. No way. Xi and Shang happily agreed. Okay. Completely unaware of the undercurrent between the two men, Fu Hanchuan had such a headache that he didn't want to argue with old Master Liu, so he quickly changed the subject. Let's eat. During dinner, he casually asked about her living arrangements. Sheng, have you found a place to live yet? Not yet. Fu Hanchuan took the opportunity to suggest, I'll live alone in a villa. It's spacious and airy. Do you want to live with me? Xi and Shang hesitated. Wouldn't that be inconvenient? It would be too much trouble for Brother Fu. Fu Hanchuan immediately put on a pitiful expression. Sheng, do you not want to? Xi and Shang thought to herself, oh no, what should I do? The more time I spend with the person I like, the harder it is to say no. Elder Liu patted her shoulder and whispered, Shang, the Fu and Liu families are very close. Why don't you just stay there and come visit this old man often? I get lonely in my old age. It's quite boring being alone. He was actually thinking, let this old fellow help you out. Shang agreed with some difficulty. All right, Grandpa Liu. Fu Hanchuan, upon hearing this, grinned happily at her. Elder Liu was going all out this time, giving his full support. Excellent work. That evening, a few days later, Xi and Shang had just left the house with her suitcase when she bumped into Qin Chu Rou and her mother. Lin Shuya, seeing her luggage, frowned and asked, Xi and Shang, where are you going? Xi and Shang calmly replied, I've already severed ties with the Qin family. I'm no longer part of the Qin family, so of course I'm moving out. Lin Shuya gritted her teeth, her face full of anger. Xi and Shang, you really weren't raised by us, were you? You have no respect for your parents. Xi and Shang retorted without hesitation, of course I wasn't raised by you. If I were, how could my biological parents treat me like an enemy? Lin Shuya's face turned pale. She roared, Xi and Shang, remember this. From now on, I only have Qin Chu Rou as my daughter. I like to see what kind of big shot you'll become. Don't come crawling back when you can't even afford to eat. Xi and Shang said confidently, don't worry about that. Qin Chu Rou smugly blocked her way. Wait a minute. She slowly leaned close to Xi and Shang's ear and whispered with a laugh, congratulations, sister, on becoming someone's wife. An old man's wife at that. She thought to herself, no matter what, Xi and Shang's life is over. Xi and Shang wasn't having any of it and immediately retaliated. Qin Chu Rou, I should congratulate you too. Your face is completely ruined. Qin Chu Rou tried to hold back, but couldn't help but retort, Xi and Shang, what do you have to be so proud of? Without the Qin family, what can you do? Rely on men. Even the prettiest face gets old. You'll be dumped eventually. Xi and Shang replied haughtily, I don't care about the Qin family at all. Qin Chu Rou, you'd better hold on tight to the Qin family, because without it, you're nothing. Qin Chu Rou clenched her fists in anger. Watching her leave, Fu Hanchuan was already anxiously waiting outside, checking his watch from time to time. He thought, it's been over an hour. Could something have happened to Shang? Just as he thought this, Shang came out dragging her suitcase and called out happily, Brother Fu. Fu Hanchuan took her luggage and said, let's go home. Just then, as Fu Hanchuan and Xi and Shang's car drove away, Qin Hai's car approached from the opposite direction. Qin Hai looked back in confusion, thinking, why does that person look so much like the CEO of HD Group? Impossible. How could Xi and Shang know such an important person? The scene shifted to the Fu family villa. Fu Hanchuan led her into a new room and introduced Shang, this is your room. The pink decorations in the room were especially cute. Fu Hanchuan asked expectantly, Shang, I decorated this room myself. Do you like it? I heard girls love pink. Not wanting to disappoint him, Shang nodded decisively and replied, I love it. Fu Hanchuan beamed, unable to contain his happiness. He patted her head and reminded her it's getting late. Get some rest. Shang didn't try to keep him and said obediently, Good night, brother Hanchuan. He immediately replied, Good night, and thoughtfully closed the door for her. Xi and Shang took out her phone and looked at it. Tomorrow is April 6th. If my memories from my past life are correct, tomorrow might be the day Su Yitu's grandmother becomes critically ill. Back then, Su Yitu anxiously ran to ask the doctor, Doctor, how's my grandmother? The doctor's expression was grave. The patient's condition is very serious. I recommend immediate surgery. The sooner the better. At this point, the doctor hesitated. Su Yitu asked about the cost of the surgery. For 100,000. Your grandmother is old, and it's late stage. Even with surgery, the risks are high. Are you sure you want to proceed? After hearing this, Su Yitu clenched his fists, his body trembling with worry. He made up his mind. Do the surgery. The doctor didn't object. All right, but the surgery requires full payment before it can be performed. Hearing this, his newly found resolve wavered slightly. I understand. Just then, someone called his name, Su Yitu. He turned around and saw Xi and Shang leaning against the wall, watching him. He turned his head away, slightly embarrassed, but Xi and Shang called out again, Need any help? A male classmate said wearily, Xi and Shang, do you have any cash? Xi and Shang confidently pulled out a black card. 1 million. Is that enough? The young man hesitantly waved his hand. 1 million. I can't accept this. Xi and Shang calmly replied, Of course, there are conditions. She took out a document and handed it to him. After you graduate, you must come and work for my company. This 1 million will be considered your advance salary. He carefully took the document, thinking to himself, I knew Xi and Shang was amazing, but I didn't expect her to be this amazing, starting a company before even graduating. On the surface, he asked with a somewhat dejected tone, Why are you helping me? Xi and Shang said lightly, I just think you have value. Geniuses like you are rare. The young man bowed repeatedly in gratitude. Xi and Shang, thank you so much. Xi and Shang glanced towards old Master Lu, who was resting in the hospital ward. She felt a pang of sadness and guilt. In my past life, old Master Lu also passed away like this. I was such a fool, pushing away the most trustworthy person, and instead helping Qin Chu Rou and the Qin family. Her gaze became firm. This time, no matter what, I will protect old Master Lu. And Fu Hanchuan too. Night fell. In the Fu family villa, under the tranquil night sky, Xi and Shang was focused on her computer, her fingers flying across the keyboard. As she stared intently at the screen, a message popped up in the game. Universe's best chatter. Spit it out. Stop hiding like a turtle. What kind of man pretends to be a woman? Seeing this message, she suddenly felt it was just right. She needed an outlet for her bad mood. Another message popped up on the blue screen. QS challenged Universe's best chatter. Universe's best chatter replied, QS, be serious this time. Don't lose and then say you weren't ready. A smile played on Xi and Shang's lips. In my past life, the Lone Fei group and HD group were always fighting. I can't let them have it too easy this time. Lu Ming stretched his wrists, saying confidently, This time I'll make QS kneel down and call me daddy. In the game, QS and Universe's best chatter were already locked in fierce combat. Universe's best chatter laughed triumphantly. Sorry, gotta run. He brandished his sword, looking smug. Lu Ming frantically hammered the keyboard, thinking, I still have one last line of defense. As long as I hold out, victory will be mine. But Xi and Shang wasn't worried at all, thinking, haste makes waste. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, hitting the enter key. Bam! QS's game character landed a one-hit kill. Universe's best chatter was stunned. What? When did QS surpass me? Is she cheating? Instantly, large words from QS popped up on Lu Ming's screen. Loser. He wasn't happy at all, slamming the table and crying, Wah, I was defeated by QS again and mocked as a loser. Lu Ming became a pitiful sight, complaining while sending a message to Fu Hanchuan. Brother, QS bullied me again. You have to avenge me. Otherwise, you'll never see your dear little brother again. At this time, Fu Hanchuan was cooking. Hearing the notification sound from his phone, he casually picked it up and glanced at it. After reading it, he tossed the phone aside, finding it boring. Fu Hanchuan tasted the dish and nodded in satisfaction. Just the right amount of salt. I have to fatten Shang up while I can. He knocked gently on the door. Shang, can I come in? Xin Shang inside nodded. Yes. Fu Hanchuan walked in with a dish and placed it on the table. I made you some nourishing soup. Drink it while it's hot. She smiled brightly. Fugu, wait a moment. Xin Shang's fingers danced across the keyboard. Fu Hanchuan watched, momentarily mesmerized. These hands are so beautiful. The game system displayed a large pop-up. Congratulations on cracking the system. Fu Hanchuan leaned in closer. Shang, you play Hacker Emperor 2-2. What's your ID? Xin Shang answered truthfully. QS. Hearing this ID, he froze for a moment, then smiled and patted her head. Drink your soup and get some rest. Xin Shang nodded politely. Okay. A moment later, Fu Hanchuan suddenly put on his glasses, sat down at the desk, and began to furiously type on the keyboard. A blue window popped up on the computer screen. A message from an account with the IDC appeared. Want to play a game? Xin Shang's rapidly moving fingers stopped instantly. Xin Shang stroked her chin, suspicious of this unfamiliar ID. Could it be C, the number 1 player on the Hacker Emperor leaderboard? Xin Shang immediately replied. Okay. Lu Ming, upon seeing this, said triumphantly, oh my god, this is going to be a good show. QS is definitely going to get wrecked this time. In the game, C and QS's characters faced off. QS extended a hand, initiating the challenge. No holding back this time, okay. C quickly grabbed QS's hand, stopping her. Understood. Both Fu Hanchuan and Xin Shang were completely engrossed in the game. After a while, the system announced, congratulations to C and QS for winning first place. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. QS is too strong. Is she on the same level as my brother? Afterwards, the two shook hands amicably, praising each other. C said, you're very skilled. QS replied, you're amazing too. Want to follow each other? Of course. In my following list, QS's account status has changed to active. After the battle, Fu Hanchuan stared at the name, murmuring Sheng under his breath. The HD group building bustled with people coming and going. Fu Hongyi carefully adjusted his suit and tie, thinking solemnly, today, no matter what, I must secure the collaboration with HD Group, otherwise the Fu family is finished. He walked to the reception desk and put on a polite tone. Hello, I'm Fu Hongyi, CEO of the Fu Group. I'm here today to discuss a collaboration with your CEO. The receptionist cautiously replied, please wait a moment. I'll contact Assistant Lin immediately. Just as Fu Hanchuan walked by, Fu Hongyi saw him and froze. Fu Hanchuan, what is he doing here? Unable to contain his curiosity, he asked, excuse me, who is that young man? The receptionist turned to look and replied, he's one of our company's managers. Manager. Hearing this, Fu Hongyi gritted his teeth, his heart filled with discontent. He couldn't believe that Fu Hanchuan was a manager at HD Group. He spoke up on the spot, his tone clearly displeased. Fu Hanchuan. Fu Hongyi frowned and immediately scolded. Instead of working diligently at your own family's company, you're working for someone else. What kind of behavior is this? Fu Hanchuan smiled faintly and replied, it's none of your business. He stood face to face with Fu Hongyi, impatience in his voice. Fu Hanchuan, I'm your father. I have the right to control you. Fu Hanchuan coldly replied, my father died a long time ago. Fu Hongyi's face turned livid with anger. Fu Hanchuan, I'm warning you. If you don't appreciate my kindness, don't blame me for disregarding our father-son relationship. Fu Hanchuan turned and walked away, not caring what the old man said. Whatever. Fu Hongyi was still fuming when Assistant Lin walked over. Vice President Fu. Fu Hongyi's expression immediately changed. He immediately put on a smiling face and greeted him warmly. Assistant Lin. Assistant Lin looked him up and down, thinking, this is our CEO's father, yet he's giving such a hard time. Aloud, he said, please follow me. Fu Hongyi nodded repeatedly. Yes. In HD Group's reception room, Fu Hongyi took out a stack of documents and said, this is our Fu Group's project. We've invested a year's worth of effort into it. He placed the documents on the table and carefully asked, Assistant Lin, you think this project is excellent, right? Assistant Lin took the documents and flipped through them. You're seeking an investment from our company. Fu Hongyi nodded repeatedly. Yes. Assistant Lin looked through the documents for a while. Vice President Fu, do you know Manager Fu? Fu Hongyi waved his hand, his face darkening. Assistant Lin, I'll be frank, Fu Hanchuan is my son. Assistant Lin wasn't surprised, simply uttering a soft "oh." Fu Hongyi began to complain. That child is so unreasonable. His grandfather wanted him to join the company for training, but Fu Hanchuan would rather leave the Fu family than join the company. Assistant Lin adjusted his glasses slightly. I didn't expect Vice President Fu to be this kind of person. Fu Hongyi put on a pitiful expression. Assistant Lin, a director should have good character. If Fu Hanchuan does anything detrimental to the company, I would feel very guilty. So I suggest your company fire him. He smirked inwardly. If this person knew that the person he was suggesting to fire was actually HD Group CEO, his jaw would probably drop. Assistant Lin suddenly stood up and waved his hand. It seems we don't necessarily need to collaborate. He calmly continued. Manager Fu Hanchuan is a member of our company, and HD Group always protects its own. If it weren't for Fu Hanchuan, you wouldn't even have a chance to meet me today, let alone discuss collaboration. Hearing this, Fu Hongyi's forehead broke out in a sweat, and he quickly stood up. I'm also doing this for the good of your company. Someone like Fu Hanchuan, if he leaks company secrets, it would be a huge blow to your company. Assistant Lin retorted, our company is fully capable. We don't need Mr. Fu to worry. We know Manager Fu's capabilities ourselves. Mr. Fu, our companies are not suited for collaboration. Please leave. Fu Hongyi's face alternated between pale and flushed. If the collaboration fails, the old man definitely won't spare me. Just then, Han Chuan and his secretary were about to enter the company when someone suddenly called out, Han Chuan. Interrupted by this sudden voice, Han Chuan pursed his lips, his brow furrowed, clearly annoyed by the disturbance. Fu Hongyi smiled and approached with a gentle tone. Ha Chuan, I heard you've been working as a manager at HD Group recently. The Fu family has a project that requires collaboration with HD Group. Could you put in a good word and get your CEO to agree to the collaboration? Han Chuan gave him a cold look, laced with sarcasm. So this is why you're looking for me. Fu Hongyi's hands clenched, his body trembling slightly, and cold sweat beaded on his forehead under Han Chuan's sharp gaze. Ha Chuan, I'm doing this for your own good. You're Hongyi's eldest son, and the Fu family's assets will all be yours in the future. If the Fu family prospers, you'll benefit too, won't you? Han Chuan was unmoved by his flattery, coldly brushing past Fu Hongyi. No need. Leave all of the Fu family's assets to Fu Mingxu. After being rejected, Fu Hongyi angrily grabbed Fu Hanchuan's sleeve and berated him. Fu Hanchuan, you're a member of the Fu family. Helping the Fu family is only right. But not only did you not help, you also slandered the Fu group, making it impossible for us to secure this collaboration. As soon as he finished speaking, Fu Hanchuan's expression instantly changed. Fu Hongyi questioned, what do you mean by those words? Fu Hanchuan coldly flung off his hand. Go investigate yourself. Find out if what Fu Hongyi said is true or false. After saying this, he turned and left with his secretary, leaving Fu Hongyi standing there dumbfounded. A moment later, Fu Hanchuan instructed his secretary, if the Fu family comes to inquire about why Fu Hongyi didn't sign the contract with our company, don't stop them. Just tell them the truth. Then, Fu Hanchuan's secretary asked about his next schedule. Mr. Fu, where to next? Fu Hanchuan's expression softened, and he smiled slightly. Let's go pick up Sheng Sheng. The scene shifted to the school gate, where Sheng Sheng was happily walking and chatting with a friend. Suddenly, Fu Hanchuan noticed a hand resting on Sheng Sheng's shoulder. His face immediately darkened, his brow furrowed, clearly displeased. At the same time, Sheng Sheng's friend suddenly felt a chill and widened her eyes in surprise. Why did the weather suddenly get so cold? Seeing Fu Hanchuan appear, Sheng Sheng exclaimed in delight, Brother Fu. Sheng Sheng's friend hurriedly made an excuse to leave. Sheng Sheng, I'll go first. She thought to herself, Fu Hanchuan and Sheng Sheng are siblings, right? I thought he liked Sheng Sheng and was jealous. She smiled awkwardly. Now alone with Sheng Sheng, Fu Hanchuan asked gently, Sheng Sheng, why are you here today? Fu Hanchuan patted his sister's head affectionately. I just left the company and came to pick you up on the way. Let's go buy some groceries, okay? He pulled out his wallet from his breast pocket. Sheng Sheng, I came to pick you up right after work. Let's go buy some groceries. Sheng Sheng took the wallet and agreed to Fu Hanchuan's suggestion. Okay. The two arrived at the market, and Sheng Sheng was paying for the items in her hand. Annie, here's the money. Please count it. The stall owner saw Fu Hanchuan standing nearby and misunderstood their relationship. Young man, is this your girlfriend? You two are a perfect match. Sheng Sheng blushed and turned her head shyly. No, Seeing that Fu Hanchuan didn't deny it, Sheng Sheng's face flushed even redder. The stall owner, having received confirmation, praised them even more. Young man, letting your girlfriend pay. How considerate. Qin Sheng awkwardly pulled Fu Hanchuan away. Let's go. Hand in hand, they walked through the market, constantly greeted by vendors. Young man, want to take a look at these fresh white radishes. Fu Hanchuan glanced at the bags in his hand and immediately refused. No, thank you. We bought enough. The vendor smiled. Grocery shopping with your girlfriend. How sweet. Hearing the compliment, Fu Hanchuan's mood brightened considerably. We'll take some. We'll take some. Along the way, as long as someone said Qin Sheng was his girlfriend, Fu Hanchuan beamed with joy, buying more and more as they strolled, his eyes shining. Qin Sheng could only helplessly follow and pay. Shopping with your girlfriend, buying. Before the vendor could finish, Fu Hanchuan had already happily bought the items. Shopping with my girlfriend. Finally, Fu Hanchuan's hands were full of bags, but he still cheerfully called out buy them all. After finishing their shopping, he smiled and put the groceries into the car. Then he immediately instructed the driver, let's go home. At this moment, Qin Sheng lowered her head slightly, embarrassed by the misunderstanding at the market. Brother Fu, they said we were a couple earlier. She clenched her hands, summoning the courage to test Fu Hanchuan's attitude. What do you think? Faced with Qin Sheng's sudden question, Fu Hanchuan was momentarily stunned. He smiled, masking his true feelings. Qin Sheng, they were just joking. Don't take it to heart. Hearing Fu Hanchuan's reply, Qin Sheng closed her eyes and let out a long sigh of relief. Phew, it's good that brother Fu doesn't mind. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to face him. However, Fu Hanchuan's heart was filled with regret. I really wish I could confess right now, tell her I like her, and want to be with her forever. The two remained silent during the ride home. But Qin Sheng doesn't fully like me yet. She only sees me as a friend, a family member. If she knew my feelings, she would definitely avoid me. I can't take that risk. After returning home, they had dinner together. Fu Hanchuan gently reminded Qin Sheng. Qin Sheng, the weather forecast said there will be a big thunderstorm tonight. Remember to close the windows. At the mention of thunder, Qin Sheng's face immediately paled and her body trembled slightly. However, in front of Fu Hanchuan, she still tried to appear calm. Okay, I understand, Brother Fu. I'll go back to my room to rest. In the middle of the night, a loud clap of thunder startled Fu Hanchuan awake. He got up and opened the curtains to look outside. This scene seemed familiar, like something from a dream. Qin Sheng seemed to be truly terrified of thunder. Thinking of this, Fu Hanchuan became extremely worried and hurried to find Qin Sheng. Qin Sheng. He knocked on the door repeatedly, shouting loudly, Qin Sheng. But there was no response. Could it be? Fu Hanchuan used all his strength to break open the door. As soon as the door opened, he rushed into the room anxiously. Qin Sheng. But the bed was empty. No one was there. Qin Sheng. Suddenly, a low sob caught Fu Hanchuan's attention. Qin Sheng was curled up in a ball, hugging herself tightly. Her body trembled uncontrollably, and she murmured, so scary, so scary. Fu Hanchuan quickly went over to comfort her. Qin Sheng. He gently covered Qin Sheng's ears with his hands. He softly soothed her. It's all right now, don't be afraid. Qin Sheng looked up, her eyes filled with tears. Brother Fu. Her eyes widened. Fu Hanchuan suddenly pulled her into his arms to comfort her. Qin Sheng, I'm here. Qin Sheng's body continued to tremble with fear. After a while, she closed her eyes and leaned against Fu Hanchuan's chest, feeling a sense of security. It was so warm. Amidst the downpour, Fu Hanchuan looked at the trembling Qin Sheng in his arms, his heart heavy. He couldn't help but wonder what she had gone through. Half an hour later, the rain finally stopped. Fu Hanchuan gently kissed Qin Sheng's hair and then reached out to turn on the bedside lamp. The light came on, illuminating the entire room. Fu Hanchuan smiled comfortingly at the girl in front of him. Qin Sheng, it's all right now. Qin Sheng looked at Fu Hanchuan and managed a weak smile. I'm okay now, Brother Fu. Thank you. Suddenly, Fu Hanchuan picked her up and walked towards the bed. The floor is cold. Let's get into bed. He gently placed Qin Sheng on the bed. Fu Hanchuan, full of curiosity, smiled and asked the person in front of him, Qin Sheng, can you tell me what happened to you? Qin Sheng hugged herself, lowered her head, and remained silent.